Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. Here in GOAT James Kingdom, we attack the GOAT debate head on, where we challenge all Michael Jordan fans and all LeBron detractors to who is the GOAT of basketball. You can catch us every Sunday noon Eastern Time, right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, for the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and A. Johnny. Also, we go live Friday nights with the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, where you catch special shows and content as a GOAT James Kingdom follower and subscriber. Also, check out the GOAT James Kingdom membership, where you can get exclusive content.
What he's saying is actually correct. Like, when did ring culture become a thing, right? When you talk about a team award, something that a structure needs to win, does not boost you in front of individual accomplishments. And when you used Kobe, would frowned upon what LeBron said, I would disagree with that.
Got you.
I would disagree with that.
I remember what I said there.
In real time, Kobe had 3 rings. Y'all wasn't treating him like a 3-ring player. You was treating him like a sidekick. He was considered a sidekick. He was considered a Robin. He was considered the next Pippen. In 2002, with 3 rings, we were still comparing T-Mac. Who was better in the league? You couldn't convince the NBA down the middle who was better. So
between
T-Mac and Cole.
Totally true. Totally
right?
true.
So if you're sitting there with 3 rings, and you're still being compared to someone who doesn't have rings, what do you think happened? I need individual accomplishments. Can you please get rid of Shaq? Right? Because if it was about rings, there was no reason for the fallout with him and Shaq. The fallout was about you only respect the driver of the car. No one respects the passenger of rings. Right? There's no one says it, but the one who's leading the one who's leading the team, that's the gold member right there. That ring counts. The second option ring, that's silver when no one respects it. In history, no one has respected.
Scottie Pippen's
You got Scottie Pippen with 6 rings that's ranked on the all-time list 32. Right? You got people that don't have rings that's in front of them. So what LeBron is saying is like, wait a minute, when did we take away your greatness as a player and use team structured awards?
Peace and blessings, y'all. Welcome to the GOAT James Kingdom show with B. Lee and A. Johnny. As y'all know, we go live every Sunday noon Eastern time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel, where you can talk basketball with the best of the best like B. Lee and A. Johnny. Thank you for joining us on another great Sunday afternoon right here where the basketball world lives. Right here, ladies and gentlemen. There is no better place to do it on a Sunday afternoon than right here on the GOAT James Kingdom platform. We want to say peace and blessings to everybody who's here joining us as well. Let me bring up King John in the building. Shout out to all you guys. I apologize. I forgot to send you guys the link earlier. My apologies. Peace and blessings. Thank you guys for joining us. We got here our normal panelists as usual, but we got a special guest in the building. West Coast is in the building. West Coast is a King's Guard member, and as a King's Guard member, you automatically get access to today's show on any Sunday show. If the link is available to you pre-show, that way you don't have to wait till we drop it in the show chat. So shout out to you. Peace and blessings, brother.
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James.
All right, so we're gonna have some fun. What's good, Brandon? You ready for today's show, Brandon?
Yeah, what's good, everybody?
All right, so we got our normal panelists here as usual. We got King John, Craig, and Travis. What up, fellas? How y'all doing?
Why you ain't got Magic in that picture?
Who?
Hey, y'all, I know why he sent the link late today. Yesterday, I threw a shot at a Johnny yesterday about who beat the Miami Heat the year after they won the championship and the sweep. I mean, Brandon had reminded me of the sweep, and so he just sent the link late today. So I mean, that's what he keep telling us.
And I made sure to send you the link last too. I made sure I'm sending John the link last. My apologies, gentlemen. My apologies, man. I had sent it out to the Kings Guards members.
Hey, no, John, just as long as he don't talk about the Bears, we cool.
See, I like that. Every time you bring up the Bulls, I'm gonna make sure Brandon bring up the Bears.
Bears going all the way this year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Behind Caleb Williams with his painted fingernails. But either way, we're not here to talk about that. We're not here to talk about people taking it all the way.
No Bears talk. No Bears talk.
Yeah, we here to talk about actual basketball players that take it all the way. Okay, we here to have some fun here. We here to discuss: do sidekick rings matter? Do they count? That's what today's show is going to be about. So again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow us on all other platforms. We're on TikTok, Facebook, Discord, Instagram, Twitter. We're all over the place. You guys know where to find us. In some cases, you could take a trip to Miami and come see me if you want to be a GJK City Girl groupie. Or you could take a trip to Arizona and see Brandon if you want to go to Arizona, since you guys love seeing guys and play one-on-one. Brandon, somebody challenged me to one-on-one. Do you want to play somebody one-on-one? You still got it in you?
I'm away, Brandon. I'll be there in a few hours.
You'll be there in a few hours. That's what I'm saying. But either way, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I said, don't be afraid to be a member of the channel. And what we're here to discuss is this actual discussion here today. Since Tracy McGrady and Kobe Bryant, Gilbert Arenas conversation has saturated the basketball world, we decided to take this another route, because in reality, it is about the sidekick talk. Because that's what Tracy McGrady said. If I was Shaq's sidekick, I can't win some championships, and a lot of y'all were disrespecting Shaq and saying Shaq can't win with Tracy McGrady. But that's another topic for another day. Today's topic is those who did win championships. No hypotheticals. Do their actual championships matter? And in fact, this was Travis's topic for his show. So we're just going to begin today's show with Travis's chat box, because Travis wants to actually address this matter like none other. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and start today's show.
We are interrupting our normal programming. The current threat level is critical, meaning an attack is imminent. Civilians are advised to remain indoors. In some urban areas, evacuations are taking place. If you're in one of these areas, police will help you to safety. Follow their orders without question. You should remain indoors until you are told otherwise. You should now prepare for a nuclear strike. You will not be able to leave your location for 14 days after the strike.
What he's saying is actually correct. Like, when did ring culture become a thing, right? When you talk about a team award, something that a structure needs to win, does not boost you in front of individual accomplishments. And when you used Kobe, would frowned upon what LeBron said, I would disagree with that.
Got you.
I would disagree with that.
I remember what I said there.
In real time, Kobe had 3 rings. Y'all wasn't treating him like a 3-ring player. You was treating him like a sidekick. He was considered a sidekick. He was considered a Robin. He was considered the next Pippen. In 2002, with 3 rings, we were still comparing T-Mac. Who was better in the league? You couldn't convince the NBA down the middle who was better. So
between
T-Mac and Cole.
Totally true.
Right? So if you're sitting there with 3 rings and you're still being compared to someone who doesn't have rings, what do you think happened? I need individual accomplishments. Can you please get rid of Shaq? Right? Because if it was about rings, there was no reason for the fallout with him and Shaq. The fallout was about you only respect the driver of the car. No one respects the passenger of rings. Right? There's no one says it, but The
you're totally
one
right.
who's leading the one who's leading the team, that's the gold member right there. That ring counts. The second option ring, that's silver when no one respects it. In history, no one has respected it.
Scottie Pippen's
You got Scottie Pippen with 6 rings that's ranked on the all-time list 32. Right? You got people that don't have rings that's in front of them. So what LeBron is saying is like, wait a minute, when did we take away your greatness as a player and use team structured awards?
Oh, so I need some of that merch the fans had in the front though. That was awesome. But anyway, yeah, this might be the only time or first time where what I chose for a segment coincides with the show, which is awesome. But for the first time I heard that clip, I only heard a piece of it where Gilbert Arenas basically said, "Hey, I misunderstood him and thought he said that he didn't care about the rings. Nobody cares about the driver rings." But he's absolutely right with this take. And again, this might be one of the times where I'm not debunking. I'm actually kind of in agreement with something somebody said. But he's absolutely spot on. Throughout history, there's been examples where the sidekick, or I should say second best player, no matter how small the amount is, or basically how little behind they are, or whatever, they get disrespected and they get docked. And I would say this mainly only applies if we're doing the top 10 players, or wherever you have Kobe. I would say that reasoning, that logic only applies to him. Okay. And you can think guys like Scottie Pippen, whatever, but if we're debating players who pretty much everyone has near the top of the rankings, I would say that Kobe Bryant kind of stands alone when we're using this kind of reasoning. And why is that? So when he was talking about when he's talking about the second or the driver and like the silver medal, all those things are terms that we use to describe what Kobe did and what he accomplished. Now, these are all things that kind of you heard. We've talked about these. I've talked about this the last few weeks here. We've covered it here. Johnny has all these. You've heard us do it. But just a couple of facts here. And the questions are, we got to raise the question too, what constitutes a sidekick? Is it just somebody who's not scoring or not, leading in scoring? Is it somebody who's doing everything else except scoring? Is it someone like Bill Russell was, leading with his defensive prowess, getting on the fast break, leading rebounds? What is the sidekick? Is it just your eye test of who's the best player? Is it all just statistical? What's the standard here? Because, for example, and you guys know this, from 2000 to 2004, Kobe led in 9 of the 18 series they played. And all of the ones he led in were during the Western Conference playoffs, the consensus toughest series they went through. While Shaq was dominating in the finals, which is fine, Kobe was oftentimes carrying against the tougher teams in the West. He also led the Lakers in assists and steals during that entire time frame. Okay, so he was, you could argue, the best player. He was generating the most points. Okay, he was behind Shaq in 01 and 02 by fractions of a point in the scoring category. Okay, but it goes beyond that. It goes, people don't have the same energy for all these other greats that they have as bullet number 3, bullet number 4 or 5, whatever the case is, like Kareem Magic. Kareem is the only top 10 player to have won a chip while playing with that year's MVP, the Finals MVP, and the DPOY. Hell, Kareem went to 3 straight NBA Finals in 87 and 89, right? Winning twice without leading his team in points, rebounds, or assists. Okay. He's number 3 with a bullet. Why doesn't he get docked? He went to as many finals as Kobe did, won twice, while being the definition of a sidekick. Okay? He wasn't the best defensive player. He wasn't their best rebounder, scorer, anything. Okay, Kobe Bryant won all defensive teams every single year he was with Shaq. Okay, Bill Russell, how about him? He was option 5 on average for his first 4 rings, at least in scoring. Does that matter? Guys like Bob Cousy, Tom Heinsohn, Bill Sharman, Frank Ramsey were oftentimes leading in points, assists, field goal percentage by a wide margin, etc. 1959, Bill Russell was the 7th option in the finals. I've never heard a single person bring that up when they're trying to rank Bill. He's either the GOAT or, top 5, anything like that. Okay. Same thing with guys like Steph Curry in 2017, where he was fractions of a point behind Kevin Durant in scoring during the playoffs, but he was a sidekick, right? People consistently say those rings didn't count, or Again, he was expected to win. They docked Steph Curry too because Kevin Durant was slightly better than him, maybe even during the playoffs. I mean, the same energy that is not really applied to these guys who really just dominate everyone's top 10 list. They don't talk about it. They don't use that same logic and reasoning. It's really just, I mean, you could say maybe Kobe Bryant, but it's really just, and obviously we're going to talk about this during the show, but it's really just pointed toward guys like Kobe Bryant, to a lesser degree, Scottie Pippen and Steph Curry, things like that. But I just think it's really unfair to dock Kobe Bryant when you see all this evidence that he was, if not the best player, he was so integral that he separates himself from every single other quote unquote second option that was in league history. If anything, he was a top 5 player in the league during those runs. So, I mean, that's it. I'm going to get off there and just wanted to present some of the facts of my viewpoint on that because, again, I think it's a wild double standard that hasn't been addressed. So we'll talk about that at length today.
Indeed. I know you had a lot to say there, Travis, so I wanted to make sure you got your take in. Shout out to you. And again, we started off our show with the chat bomb with T Perfect because he did want to address this particular topic for sure. So we're going to address it because, like I said, today's show is actually about this whole sidekick narrative that's been going on and how Gilbert Arenas and Tracy McGrady, basically sparked a real conversation out here in the basketball world. So again, today's show is about do the sidekick rings actually count? What is a sidekick? Does it knock you? We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna see how much of y'all really truly care about winning, because that's supposed to be the thing, right? Brandon, it's all about winning, right? We were told it's all about winning, not about being a loser.
And Travis, I like how you use points generated. I thought you said that wasn't a real thing. But
no, that's totally a real thing.
Okay. Okay. Well, I say it is.
Wait, I got
a question for the panel. I apologize. That's 100% a real thing.
When it comes to winning, I got a question for the panel. Let's use Scottie Pippen as a perfect example of this because he's part of this conversation, right? So when you compare players all time, if you have a player that went his whole career ringless, but you have a player like Scottie Pippen who proved he can be an integral part, a set role on winning, right? Or a championship team. So basically he can be your second scoring option, your lead distributor, and your best defender. If that's your second option all time, like when does all that success due to him having 6 rings start to outweigh somebody who has either none or way less?
I mean, if Pippen didn't have any rings, he'll probably be ranked higher.
Because to me personally, that would put that puts him like over a lot of ringless players.
He's top 20 on my list.
Yeah, and it's like that's the thing is like I don't think people are honest about the details and the nuances because, like I said, like on the defensive end, he was the best one, not Jordan. And then he was normally their lead distributor. I guess that could kind of switch back and forth between him and Jordan in the playoffs. And then of course Jordan was like the leading scorer. So I think some of the nuances, not all of them, but a good amount of them probably came from the Jordan narrative. The whole like he was the leading scorer and he was so therefore he gets the lion's share of the credit. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that. I just think that that's kind of what has shaped a lot of the perspectives of people's opinions that we hear from.
I mean, Pippen's career is stained because of he played with Jordan. If we saw how great,
that too.
If he never played with
true.
Jordan, he'll be ranked higher. Just like Kobe Bryant, if he didn't have those 3 rings with Shaq, he'll be ranked higher.
Yeah, I think that you're right. That is the curse part of having had all that success with Jordan. Like you get 6 titles with Jordan, but everyone sees you as the second the second player, right? The second option, the sidekick. Even though you're the better defender, people don't really care about that detail. It's just because Jordan scored more than you. So you get kind of docked.
Are replaceable. They could have won without you with someone else.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point of calling somebody a sidekick. That's the point.
Yeah, I can see that, but I disagree with that because we know how integral Pippen was to that success.
I mean, that's
we're gonna get to that. Yeah, I know, but we're gonna get to that because that's what today's show's about. We actually got a graph for you guys, and we're gonna bring up some ideas of who has sidekick rings or not, and if they actually count or not. We're gonna actually get to that point, but before we get to that, we obviously got to get Craig and John's take. So, Craig, what do you think about this whole Gilbert Arenas and Tracy McGrady thing? It kind of slowly picked up steam, but now it's everywhere. I've seen outside of basketball circles talking this. They were even talking this on Joe Budden's show.
Yeah, I've seen that. I mean, it's to an extent. I mean, it's dependent on the person. To me, like it's one of those sidekick things. Is at the moment thing. If you look back on it now, you'll see that you would consider Kobe just as integral as Shaq. But the reason why people say sidekick is because the final MVP. That was the whole premise of the final MVP, to highlight that one individual that stand out in the finals. So now they use that final MVP as that exact same thing. Whoever wins the final P was the integral, the standout of that series. And the NBA started it in 1969 when they gave the first final MVP award. No one was caring about it. And now everybody, now the final MVP is, if you don't got a final MVP in that finals, you was a sidekick because you wasn't the reason why. They don't see you was the main reason why that you won the championship. So blame the NBA.
I don't know, because to me the NBA didn't start the sidekick narrative.
I ain't talking, but I'm just talking about only one person wins the final MVP. You can't. There was never no co-final MVP, so everybody took that final MVP as saying that was the person, the reason why the series went the way they went. So,
yeah, but my thing is that the sidekick narrative didn't get attached or the using the finals MVP.
It got attached because it got attached to Kobe because I'm gonna use the things that y'all say about LeBron. He didn't have a chance to grow. He came into the league. He was on the bench. He was facing behind Shaq. They got Shaq. Shaq was gonna be the main guy. No one but Jerry West knew how good Kobe was gonna turn out to be. So he won early. I'll give you that. He won early when he wasn't at his best. And then he proved once he left Shaq that he could win. But it was all they didn't give a chance to Kobe to grow. He was coming off the bench. He was winning 19, 20.
But that's what Gilbert Arenas was saying, that although he was winning, people weren't respecting him as a true champion.
Kobe on his own team, and he was putting up the points and stuff like that, y'all wouldn't call him a sidekick. It's just the fact that he had another person putting up just as better numbers. So, and they was winning. Yeah. So
that's what I'm saying. But who is they that does that? Who says because you don't score, you're not a? I mean, because you score, that doesn't make you a sidekick anymore. That's the narrative that I find.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying. But no, I'm just saying who. I'm not saying you saying it. But I'm saying, but who said this? Who started this in general? Because in reality, when you really think about it, what they're basically trying to tell you is that a sidekick is somebody who just is not a scorer. Like, that's all they're trying to tell you. If you are not a scorer, you can't. You're a sidekick. That's it. If you're a scorer, you can't be a sidekick. And I'm gonna prove it to you. That's why people like Jerry West was never considered a sidekick because he was a scorer. Guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was never considered a sidekick. Why? Because he was a scorer. But for some reason, nobody says Magic was a sidekick. Nobody called McHale a sidekick.
My thing is, I've always thought they considered this second best person a sidekick because they didn't win the final MVP for that particular series. That's what my intention.
But that backfired on them. Because you got people like Tony Parker winning Finals MVP, guys like Iguodala winning Finals MVPs, Jaylen Brown winning Finals MVPs.
You got to win more than one for me to believe you was that great. Like, you can't just win one and be like, I mean, all the greats got at least 2 final MVPs. All the greats do. All of them.
Let's. But most I don't know about all of them. Yeah, Dr. J don't got now, but I got him in my top 10. But that's
he has what 2 or 3 in the ABA.
Jordan and LeBron.
He has 2 or 3 in the ABA.
Jordan and LeBron are the only players that have at least 3 rings that have led their team in scoring every single time during all of their chips.
It doesn't matter.
I mean,
that shows you there that scoring doesn't matter. That's what shows you that if less than 10% of the people do it.
Come on now.
Exactly. It doesn't matter. You don't have to score 30 points to be your leading scorer to win a championship. Like, that's not. None of that says that. That's just a circumstance.
I mean, Shaq wasn't the leading scorer in the Lakers teams for those that 3 he was.
I mean,
you're right. I'm talking about like the Lakers.
Have we heard anything negative about McHale, Parrish, Magic, Kareem, Joe Dumars?
Exactly. It's a double standard, man.
Well,
Why? Why is that? Why?
Okay, no,
Why
hold
don't
on,
we hear
Brandon.
anything negative about Dwyane Wade?
Let's bring him up. Brandon. Let's go. Let's bring up the players. And while we do that, John, you answer that question. John, here we go. He mentioned all the names. There go the names right there for you. All of these guys right here, these are their sidekick rings. And we're gonna see if their rings really matter. Because I want y'all to argue with me with these guys. I want to see if they really matter. Because they got rings. All these guys got rings.
I would argue that this is part of the this is part of the what you call it, the Jordan thing. So see, because now you did this, so now the Jordan camp would say that this is more evidence to why like Jordan is the GOAT, or why like that's more important.
Why would it be more important?
No, I'm not saying I agree, but just because they can point to Jordan and say, look, he has 6 rings as the alpha or the leading scorer, right? The number one.
but that's so that means Scottie Pippen's 6 rings don't count?
Of course not. It never did.
No, to me they definitely do. Okay. To me they hold weight. They do.
All right, then. So does Kareem's 3 rings count?
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, does Magic's 3 rings count as the sidekick?
Yeah.
Y'all got Kareem and Magic up here. They in a lot of people top 5, so you might as well just take them off the sidekick list because that don't affect them at all.
Yeah,
people still got Kareem top 3.
So sidekick rings
top 5, top 10.
So sidekick rings count.
It depends on the.
Yeah, they do. But some people push narratives and they try to like do weird, nasty stuff.
If we look on this list right here, there's only 2
MVPs. So they was at one point.
So now it's MVPs. What does MVPs have to do with rings? That's what I'm saying. You guys can't associate at things that have nothing to do with winning championships. Scottie Pippen is still a 6-time championship, whether he has MVPs or not.
But y'all, we going about the sidekick rings. It's not that's the sidekick rings. That means they only got. This is going by. They only was there to win. They only helped win the rings. So they don't have anything else on their resume but these rings. That's what you can.
No, these guys got plenty of things on their resumes besides rings.
Then.
Wait, I got a question.
What are we talking about the rings? Why are we talking about the other resume? Why are we talking about their resume? We're talking about their rings. The rings.
It depends on how the story is being told.
Exactly. Go ahead, John. Explain it, John.
Every championship on here, they wasn't labeled the final MVP except for Dumas. So I don't know why Dumas.
The sidekick.
These are the sidekick rings that they had. Thing I've decided. Kareem only has what's it called? He has 3 sidekick rings. He watched Magic win 3 championships.
Joe Dumas got a Finals MVP? When was he a sidekick?
So I thought you said he had to have multiple. He only had 1.
Yeah, it was a fluke. That's why I say.
Okay, so now he's not a sidekick.
He's a
because he got 1.
Finals MVP.
What about Parker?
What about Tony Parker? What about Tony Parker? He got a Finals MVP. Does he have are these sidekick rings or does he have 5 rings or 4 rings?
Yeah, he got 4.
Yeah, but he has 3 as a sidekick.
As a sidekick, yeah.
Okay,
wait, doesn't Wade only have 2 rings as a sidekick though?
Dwyane Wade has 3 as a sidekick. He's a sidekick to Shaq.
Wait, you think Shaq was a better player than him that season?
Don't tell me who's the better player. Shaq was not the sidekick. That's the fact. Shaq was not a sidekick to a second-year player coming from Marquette, averaging 15 points per game.
It all depends on how the story is being told. That's the
exactly. So again, the sidekick rings don't count. That's what you basically trying to tell me. That's why you want to take away 1 from Dwyane Wade. It don't count. You want if it's a sidekick ring, you don't want to count it.
Would never be the sidekick in this narrative to the media.
Well, you know what? It's funny that people always. I mean that's true because people are revisionists. That's how people do. Because remember, I told y'all I'm from Miami. I remember what happened. Listen, they didn't have a parade when Kobe re-signed a contract in 2004 to become the Lakers franchise player. They didn't have a parade when Dwyane Wade showed up in Miami. They didn't have a parade for Dwyane Wade when we shipped off Caron Butler and Lamar Odom, and it was Dwyane Wade and Shaquille O'Neal. You know who they had a parade for? They had a parade for Shaquille O'Neal. They had him. He was the catalyst for the team. Everything that was being built on from there on out was to help Shaquille O'Neal win another championship, including Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade was a piece to helping Shaq win his 4th NBA championship. Those are the facts, ladies and gentlemen. That's not me making shit up. That's actually what happened in 2004. I remember. In fact, I'll let you see it now.
The major headline around the league tonight, the Los Angeles Lakers and Miami Heat have agreed to a trade that will send Shaquille O'Neal, one of the greatest big men of all time, to sunny South Florida.
When I first came to Miami, you know, Pat called me and said, we want to do a little ceremony for you. So I figured it was going to be a ceremony with about 100, 200 people. But as I pulled up in the 18-wheeler, I saw it was like, I want to say about 15,000 people out there. It made me feel like a mini parade. I was like, wow, these people know of what I can do. They know of what I can bring. So when I walked up and I was walking through the crowd, you know, I got kind of butterflies, I got kind of jitters. So that's why I made the statement, I will bring a championship to Miami.
Remember this? Because I'm going to bring a championship to Miami, I promise.
And it was clear from the start that Superman and his new sidekick would form a dynamic duo. That Superman and his new sidekick would form a dynamic duo.
That Superman and his new sidekick would form a dynamic duo.
I was looking at him and he stole a ball and he just took off. I'm like, damn, did you see that? That dude was like Flash. Ding! So we're going to call him Flash.
So, Brandon, when LeBron James gets a...
said that he turned the team over to him so they could win. He told everybody, this is the young fella right here. We going with Wade. And that's what happened too.
When he said that, can y'all get that film of that for me, please?
Okay, Brandon. Hey Johnny. That's why I brought that up.
Before we go, because y'all want to. That was the NBA. That's not me making up no footage. That is NBA media. Don't come argue with me. Go argue with the NBA what they just called him. That's after the Heat won a championship in 2006.
Before they played a game together, though. So
again, that was them showing you
they played a game.
That the team was built around Shaq. Gary Payton went there to play with Shaq. Antoine Walker went there to play with Shaq. Jason Williams went there to play with Shaq. Zoe showed up to play with Shaq. Posey came to play with Shaq. But Brandon, I want to ask you this, Brandon, because y'all taking off this topic. When we had a ceremony and LeBron James promised championships, who was considered the leader of the team, Dwyane Wade or LeBron James?
It was LeBron was considered the best player on the team.
All right. So when Shaq shows up to Miami and have a ceremony for him and he promises a championship and delivers.
It was obvious Shaq was going to be the best player on the team. That was obvious.
Okay. So at the end of the day, Dwyane Wade has a sidekick championship to Shaq because when they gave him the ring in 2007,
the next year, Dwyane Wade took the step to take over the team.
No, he took a step up to be a better player, without a doubt. But Shaq was still the leader of the team, and the team was still built around Shaq. There was still the game plan was still built around Shaq. Everything was about Shaq. Shaq was just same with Kobe. As good as Kobe was in 02 and 01, everything was still built around Shaq. Teams were still trying to find ways to stop Shaq. Teams were getting 2-3 centers on their team for Shaq. They were putting bum-ass Howard and who's the other dude that played on Marquise Daniels on Dwyane Wade. Go ahead, have luck, sir. 1-on-1.
But Shaq was the first time he took a step back and say,
"I know
let's take over."
That's what leaders do. That's what leaders do. Kareem did that.
That's why Dwyane Wade took over.
Bird did that. Scottie Pippen did that. Stephen Curry did that. David Robinson did that. That's what leaders do. They play team basketball to win championships, and that's what the Heat did. They played team basketball to win a championship.
And Dwyane Wade took over to be the best player on the team, and that's
fine. He took over in the finals
as the leader. That's why. No, he the whole season. The whole season.
No, that's why he was the whole season. He wasn't better.
That's why he was known as the best player on the team.
No, he wasn't the best player on the team.
He definitely was.
I know Shaq made All NBA first team. I know Shaq had his best field goal percentage shooting season of the year.
Probably did because he took less shots and he took a step back. So he
because everything was predicated around him and they put the team around him.
Yeah, because everything was right.
They had shooters for Shaq, not for Wade. If that was the case, why you bring Shaq for? You have Dwyane Wade. You don't need Shaq. Shaq is not the sidekick.
That's
the whole point is that Shaq's not the sidekick. That's the fact. The disrespect for Shaq got to stop. Shaq is not a sidekick in 2006. That's facts.
Dwyane Wade was the best player on that team, and
Dwyane Wade was the sidekick.
Dwyane was the best player on the team.
He was the sidekick.
Whole year.
He was the sidekick. He was the sidekick. He was the sidekick. He was the sidekick.
I mean, just because you want him to be a sidekick doesn't mean he was.
He was.
It's
fine. A sidekick averaging almost 30 points a game, leading the team in assists and points.
So now again, y'all want to take the Zesty Jeffrey route and call it a sidekick.
Just because we don't agree with you don't mean
no. You're talking about points. You're only giving Dwyane Wade props because of points, nothing else.
Points and assists.
He was the main. he's the main offensive player on the team.
No, Shaq's the main offensive player on the team.
It was easily Dwyane Wade.
No, it wasn't. I was here. I watched it. I paid attention to it. You can't tell me. I was here. Shaq, matter of fact, Shaq didn't even relinquish the team. Shaq didn't even relinquish the team to the finals.
Okay.
I mean, let me ask you, Johnny, a question really fast though. Like, Johnny, assuming that's true, right? Where would you draw the line at the point discrepancy between the two to say that Wade, if Shaq could average 14, 15, not 20?
I don't go by what you average. I go by what the team is built off of. I go by what the team strategy is based off of. The philosophy of the team is Shaquille O'Neal. The players associated for that team to be what they were as a championship team came from Shaquille O'Neal. That's what I'm telling you. So it wasn't built.
The whole
I'm mad. Who's mad at Pippen? All these guys, listen, I'm not the one taking none of these guys' championships away. Every last one of these championships as sidekicks here count to me. Y'all the ones who's trying to discount championships, not me.
Who took Kareem?
I said Dwyane Wade has 3 championships as a sidekick. Y'all are arguing that.
Nobody ranked Parrish and McHale before this sidekick nonsense even became a
exactly. Thing. It only exists because of Scottie Pippen, because your man can't win without
you
Scottie.
You literally proved the point. How did you stop the Bulls? Did you focus on Pippen or did you focus on Jordan?
What you mean?
What you mean? What I mean? How did you try to stop the Bulls? Was it to stop Pippen or stop Jordan?
Craig, did you really go there? Craig, did you really go there? By my logic, by Scottie Pippen. Because Scottie Pippen was the reason why the triangle offense
get double teamed and get forced to give up the ball.
All the time. He did it all. They did it all the time. You think not? You think I'm bullshitting?
Worried Scottie Pippen was going to drop 50 on their head.
You think I'm bullshitting, Craig? How can I drop 50 when Jordan's not going to let him drop 50? Like Shaq let him
drop 50.
He could.
Without Jordan.
You sure about that?
Yes, I'm sure about that.
Based on what, Craig? Because he didn't do it?
He never did it with or without Jordan. What the fuck?
Because he doesn't take a bunch of shots? So you telling me that Jordan has to score 50 points. Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say 50 points. I said he wasn't a threat.
No, because you obviously, if Scottie can't score 50, then that means you need somebody to score 50. Are the Bulls necessary to have a 50-point score for them to win? Is that what you're saying?
A Bulls is necessary to have a threat on an offensive side besides one player to be an offensively threat.
Okay, that's what Scottie Pippen was, the other offensive threat.
Okay.
I have a question, Johnny. If Dwyane Wade won MVP in 2006, would that mean he was still the sidekick to Shaq if the team was formed around Shaq?
He first of all, he wouldn't have won MVP because
I'm just saying if he would have. If he would
have. No, if you win the league MVP, that's your team. You're the best player in the league.
Okay.
Dwyane Wade's not that though. Don't give Dwyane Wade something he's not. Again, Scottie Pippen.
I know one thing. Dwyane Wade finished in the top 10 in MVP votes, and Shaq didn't get one MVP vote. So apparently, does that mean anything?
No, I don't go by almost votes. I don't know. Of course, it doesn't mean that. I'm not going by.
You are going by this almost narrative that.
No, I'm
Shaq
not. Wait. Was the team almost? Was the team almost built around Shaq? No. Was the team almost all about Shaq? No. The team was built around Shaq. That's the team. I said that a long time ago.
Was Shaq first team All NBA that year?
Yes.
And he didn't get no MVP votes?
0. And
that tells you more about the voters.
Okay, Dwyane Wade. Okay, Dwyane Wade was All NBA second team. Dwyane Wade was All NBA second team, and he got MVP votes.
Yes, because he was valuable. He was one of
the most valuable things in the league. To play the first team, he wasn't valuable enough to be the best player in his position.
He wasn't better than Kobe that year.
He's not better than Kobe.
There's two positions. There's two guard positions.
I mean, was that? I don't think that's your Nash won MVP. Who won? Let me see who was first. Who's the guard?
Yes, Nash won the MVP. Of course,
Nash won MVP in 6. Okay, so that's why. That's why. Because
so he can be better than Kobe. He can't be better than Kobe.
Who Wade was not better.
He can't be better than Kobe, but he has to be better than Shaq.
I mean, he was better than Shaq. Obviously, he was better than Shaq. Because
why was he better than Shaq? Because he scored more points than Shaq. Why? Because he scored more points than Shaq.
I mean, because he was more valuable than Shaq.
I'm not gonna lie, that is weird voting by the media that year. That what you guys just said, that's weird voting by the media.
So Shaq takes 13 shots per game to average 20 points per game, and y'all are knocking him for that?
No, just saying because he wasn't the focal point.
He was the focal point. The point was Shaq is causing the double teams. He's allowing Antoine Walker.
Because in 2006 the only centers was Ben Wallace and Yao Ming, who was on the all NBA team. And of course, by like default, Shaq gets a first team by default. So that's why he didn't get any MVP vote.
Shaq gets by default, so now it's by default.
Because of Ben Wallace.
Not because the center position was weaker.
20 and 9 and led the league in field goal percentage.
He was
what happened to their center role?
Y'all means a Hall of Famer.
I don't understand this.
Hall of Famer.
But I want to address this nonsense again, because again, we're talking about who's supposed to be winning and how they contribute. Somebody had the nerve to say Scottie Pippen don't contribute on the offensive side when he was out here doing this for the Chicago Bulls and their first championship run.
Tone of this game could be set very early. Pippen to the hoop, gets the right intensity. If they relax, perhaps they can help them play a better game. Pippen makes it 8-6.
Scottie Pippen is shooting the ball so well.
There's the offense that Pippen has brought to this team. Outside, inside, slashing into the paint. Barkley controlled by Grant to Scottie Pippen against Mahorn. What a beautiful change of direction by Pippen. He got Barkley, he got Mahorn going left and then took it right down the lane. This Bulls team, as we mentioned in our open, has been barely challenged versus Pippen. He'll go to the post. Look at that move. A little bit reminiscent, and I'm getting in high cotton here, of Dr. J. That range. Bulls by one. Pippen hasn't missed. He is 7 out of 7. 360, 180, whatever you want, he's giving to you tonight on the dome. Cole got the offensive board, couldn't stick it back up. Purdue with a big jam for Pippen. Phil Jackson told me before the game, I asked him what he thought the biggest difference in this Bulls offense was this year compared to last year in the playoff, and he said Pippen's ability to be a point guard.
Listen, Craig.
Before the game, I asked him what he thought the biggest difference in this Bulls offense was this year compared to last year in the playoff, and he said Pippen's ability to be a point guard. And he said Pippen's ability to be a point guard.
And he said Pippen's ability to be a point guard.
Your man can't drop 50 guards if I'm not giving you the ball. That's fact. When you was scoring 50, you was 1 and 9. When you was scoring 50, you was 1 and 9. You was 1 and 9 when you was scoring 50.
Show me the 50-point game.
I showed you Scottie Pippen being an offensive factor. Don't ask me about points. I don't do zesty Jeffrey logic. I don't care about points. I care about how you affect the game on the basketball court.
Scottie Pippen a GOAT.
That's what I care about. That's what I care about.
Scottie was great.
That's what I care about. Don't tell me about points. I care about how you affect the game of basketball.
Pippen dropping 50 on them.
I don't care. Nobody cares about 50 points. Nobody cares about 50 points.
The GOAT conversation.
Nobody cares about 50 points. So now I got to knock a player because he ain't out here jacking up 30 shots per game?
Well, you just said the sidekick is. You just said the main person is who the defense is after.
I said who the team is built around and the strategy of the team is built around.
I didn't hear about the Pippen rules.
I didn't call Jordan. I didn't call Jordan the sidekick. You are mad because I'm showing you how great Pippen is. It's not my fault. Stop comparing Pippen and Jordan when I show you Pippen is great. That's your fault. I didn't say Mike was a sidekick.
They on the same team.
Craig knows Pippen is great.
That's why he has 6 championships. That's why he has 6. And give him his 6 and stop saying he doesn't have it because he didn't score 50 points.
No, what I said was, as your logic, he wasn't the one the team was like, okay, instead of focus on Jordan,
he got you on that one. He got you on that one.
Got me on what? Got me on what?
He got you on that one.
Got me on what? I ain't hear nothing Craig just said right now. He was just rambling. What you said, Craig?
Okay.
What you say? What did I say?
What did I say? You said a reason that Shaq was the leader because the offense was surrounded around Shaq. Well, the offense was surrounded around Jordan.
I never called Jordan a sidekick. I just proved that Scottie was also an offensive presence. That's all I did. Again, I never called Jordan a sidekick. The team was built around Jordan. The game philosophy and strategy was built around Jordan. That's what makes Scottie Pippen his sidekick. Just like Dwyane Wade's one championship. Not my fault. Not my fault.
Yeah, so
There's no such thing as
again,
1A,
Jordan
1B.
had one hell of a socket.
There's no such thing as 1A, 1B.
Let me go through
nobody wants to be 1B.
Shaq's 2006 season where he didn't get 0 MVP votes because he was the center on the first team by default. The lowest field goal attempts he had in a season by far.
Okay.
Up until that point. Up until that point, the lowest points per game he had. Rebounds, the lowest that he had up until that point. Defensive rebounds, lowest he had up until that point. Steals, the lowest he had up until that point.
Okay.
Blocks, the second lowest he had up until that point.
Fine.
So
wait, because Shaq wasn't Shaq in 2000, that makes him a Sidekick in 2000.
Up until that point. Up until that point.
No, Brandon,
his entire career. No, it's his entire career, even his rookie year. Up until that point.
Brandon, the Miami Heat of 2006 was built for Shaq. In fact, if you go look at the team numbers, if you want to go look at the numbers, they had guys like I told you, Jason Williams, who shot 5 3-pointers per game on 37% shooting. He came there for Shaq. He got those open shots and good looks.
They came there for Shaq. Yeah.
He came there for Shaq. Another guy who came there for Shaq. Antoine Walker is another player that showed up to the Miami Heat to play alongside Shaquille O'Neal and was added to the team for Shaquille O'Neal. Took 4.7 3-pointers at 36%. They also added James Posey for that same reason, to help Shaquille O'Neal, because they were going to go to Shaq. He would be doubled. They would have open shots. Here is Posey taking 4 3-pointers per game. In 2006, you have 12 3-pointers per game being taken. 17 when they were taking about 12 per game or 13 per game on average.
You made some great points.
Another player they added to help Shaq get the ball and to get the ball to Dwyane Wade was Gary Payton, who also only showed up in Miami on his last leg to play with Shaquille O'Neal. None of these guys who are full veterans, all in there, almost 30 years old in Antoine Walker, 29 for Posey, 29 for Walker, 30 years old Jason Williams, a 37-year-old Gary Payton is going to sit here and listen to a 2-year player. Not to mention Alonzo Mourning and Shaquille O'Neal in their mid-30s are sitting here listening to a 24-year-old player named Dwyane Wade. Bruh, stop it.
Yes. I'm stop it, but I have a question. What if Dwyane Wade got hurt? Could they have got somebody in there to replace him in one of the title sets? They didn't want to listen to Wade, or did they really need Wade? They need Wade to win?
You mean can I replace? If you are replacing Wade, or are we just having an injured Wade?
Injured Wade that couldn't play in the playoffs.
Would they have been
successful?
Taking anybody off off a championship roster. They're not winning.
Okay.
So yes,
I have a question. What is Golden State teams designed for? Like which player?
Golden State?
Yeah. In 2017. 18,
their offense in 2015 and 2016 was predicated around this both shooters, Klay Thompson and
So 15 through 19, the offense was predicated around.
No, it changed when they got Kevin Durant.
Am I right, everybody? It was Steph Curry, right? Am I right?
It changed with Kevin Durant.
Right? It changed because of but it didn't change.
Of course it did. It did change with
the
Why would it change? It didn't change with Dwyane Wade. It was the same again. You know when it changed with Dwyane Wade? You know when it changed with Dwyane Wade? When they got rid of Shaq, when they got rid of Gary Payton, when they got rid of those guys. That's when it changed.
So in your mind, an offense predicated around Steph Curry had to change because a better player was there. But in the Heat, when a better player was outperforming everybody, it didn't change.
No, because Dwyane Wade was not considered the better player.
You're saying.
No, he's not. He wasn't the better player. He wasn't the better player. That's not. You're going off of points. That's not to make him the better player.
It changed in 2007 playoffs.
It changed in 2007. That's what because
they traded Shaq in the middle of 2007 season. They traded, and what happened to the Heat? We got swept. Oh no, we traded in 2008. My bad. But what happened to the Heat? We got swept.
We got swept.
Yeah,
because when they lose, they change it, but when they win, they was going around Shaq.
I said they changed it when they got. I said they changed it. I said wait. I said they changed it when they got.
I said Shaq averaging the playoffs.
I said
in the regular season he wasn't averaging that much, and It was his worst year.
Again, you're going off of stats, and again, I'm going off of stats. Exactly. So stick to it then. Who was the guy who had the stats for the Golden State Warriors for the Warriors when it was KD and Steph Curry? Then stick to the stats. Then that's the point. Stick to the stats.
Shaq, he even went down more in the playoffs.
Huh?
Yeah, Shaq went down more in the playoffs.
What year you on?
2006 when they won the title. And in the finals, he averaged 13 points per game.
He's talking about in the finals. Exactly. He's just going to bring up the finals. That's why he's going to bring up the finals.
His stats went down from the regular season, which was his worst
only
output, which was his worst.
Only
and
because
then up until that point, that was his worst output in the playoffs. So and Dwyane Wade picks it up. Dwyane Wade picks it up.
Because you're going off of points. Because you're going off of points.
Off of everything.
No, you're going off of
everything.
No, it's not everything because his rebounds went up. His rebounds went up. His rebounds went up.
Rebounds did go up.
It did go up. His rebounds did go up. His rebounds went from 9.2 to 9.8. That's up. He went up in. Let me see what else he went up in. He went up in assists as well. Hold on, wait. Let me make sure. Hold on, wait. Let me make sure blocks. Let me see blocks and steals. Let me make sure I get this right with Shaq.
Yeah, he averaged one. Yeah, his assist was 1.7.
Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I get Shaq's numbers correct here.
Points went down.
Shaq was 1.8.
Fouls went up.
Mm-hmm.
Blocks went down.
His field goal percentage went up in the playoffs. And again, he took less shots. He took less shots in the playoffs because the game plan versus Dallas.
He took less shots because he wasn't the focal point anymore. It was
that's why he took less shots. He was the focal point. Teams are double teaming him. He's making up the offense. He's got everything going in rotation.
He could be Shaq of old. He could be Shaq of old. He just wasn't the same player.
Nobody said about him being Shaq of old. You guys, you see, look, like I said, this is why I say you guys have Zesty Jeffrey because you want to make an argument I'm not making. Who's arguing that, Brandon? I'm not arguing that.
Arguing that Shaq was the
yes, he was the leader of the 05-06 because I was here and I told you why and you avoided that.
Obviously he wasn't.
Did Antoine join the Heat for Dwyane Wade or Shaq?
It doesn't matter if he joined the Heat.
That's how you see, Brandon. You can't say it doesn't matter. You can't say it doesn't matter when that's my actual argument. Argue my argument. Don't argue your own argument. Argue your argument. Argue the argument. My argument is the team is predicated around Shaq. That means something.
Doesn't mean nothing.
Huh? Well, of course it means something.
Doesn't mean nothing.
Huh?
Dwight Howard could have joined the Lakers because of Tyson Chandler. Who the hell cares? Who the hell cares? Listen, a player joins the team.
When that's what I'm because that's what makes you the leader of the team. The franchise is building around you. That's the point. Shaq is the one that got the extension that the Lakers didn't give him. It does make sense. It's called team building. You know nothing of that because you have Zesty Jeffrey logic to speak of. Points per game.
What team building is?
Shots. Look how many shots he took. Points per game. He's not scoring. He's not shooting. He can't be the leader. He doesn't score.
He'll never win an NBA game by out rebounding a team.
Yes, you will, and you will never have the basketball if you don't rebound.
I've never seen a team that has less points win the game because they out rebounded the other team. I'm just saying that never happened.
Again, you cannot have the basketball without rebounding.
They have a player who outperformed somebody by almost double and say that he wasn't the best player.
It's like one-on-one where we get to say, "Oh, it's your turn, my turn."
Talented game, but still win because they got more rebounds. Let me know.
Yes, plenty of teams. You don't know no team that wins a championship without rebounding. The guy who rebounded the best got the most championships. You won't argue that.
When that happened,
the guy who has 22 rebounds per game has more championships than the guy who has 30 points per game, Craig. Take that with you, nigga. Take that shit with you, nigga. The motherfucker who averages 22 rebounds per game has more championships than a 30-point per game scorer. Take that with you.
He got more rings than someone who scored 50,000 points. So what's your point? What's your point?
We're talking about rebounds. The nigga who has the most championships, the best rebound in NBA history. That's what we talking about. You said winning is all about scoring. Exactly. The nigga with 50,000 points has 4 championships. The nigga with 30 points per game has 6 championships. They both together have less championships than the guy who just decided to rebound his whole fucking career. So explain that.
That's all I said. The object of basketball is to outscore the other team, not out-rebound them. That's all I said.
The guy who won the most, to outscore the most, rebounded the most. You won't go to that?
I'm just saying, I never seen a team that had less points after the game win because they had more rebounds.
Yes, I know. I know you said that, but I just showed you somebody who rebounds the most and won the most. You won't accept that.
Well, Wilt Chamberlain got the most rebounds in NBA history. He only got 2.
Who has the most playoff rebounds? Who has the most playoff rebounds?
Oh, now it's playoff
He's just gonna keep changing the subject. Right?
It's not changing the subject
because you win a championship in the playoffs, right?
Thank you. You just brought up Shaq. He brought up Shaq's 13 points per game in the finals, but now Bill Russell's rebounds in the playoffs don't matter.
I didn't say anything about Shaq.
I keep telling y'all, this is fun for me. I do this shit for free or for fun, but on a Sunday afternoon, I definitely got energy for y'all.
Definitely wrong for free.
No, I'm not wrong.
Definitely wrong.
Definitely not wrong.
I'll tell you that.
Because y'all not arguing with me. Y'all arguing with yourselves.
You're definitely wrong.
So, Jenny, was Kareem still the leader? When did Kareem not be the leader or stop being the leader of the Lakers?
After 85.
After 85? Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in reality, I got Magic's numbers wrong. He only got 2 championships as a sidekick. No, he has 3 as a sidekick. Kareem has 3 as a sidekick. No, wait. So Kareem would have 2. No, Kareem would have 2 as a sidekick.
The sidekick to Worthy.
Kareem had 2 as a sidekick. Correct.
I think the argument y'all having.
See, that's crazy. So Craig, was Stephen Curry a sidekick to Iguodala in 2015?
John, I'm with you, man.
I mean that's. I mean y'all arguing the story being told. That's it. The story that's told by the media decides who the sidekick is. That's it. It's not the points per game, rebounds, and it's the story that's told.
And again, the only guys on this list y'all are arguing the sidekick narrative with is Pippen, Wade, and Steph. And that's funny. And the only 2 guys championships here that don't count are Gasol's and Pippen's. No, because y'all said Pippen has 2 as a sidekick. So y'all don't respect that.
I think Robinson's count either.
You're arguing Wade as a sidekick, not us.
No, but that's what I'm saying. But you're saying that he's not a sidekick, so he has 2 as a sidekick with LeBron James. He doesn't have that third one. So that's what I'm saying. So labeling him as a 3-time sidekick ring championship is obviously considered negative.
To be honest with you, I don't think Wade has really been labeled. His sidekick rings does not affect him.
12 and 13, right?
Yeah, those do not affect him.
His sidekick rings don't hurt him because he taught. The story is he taught LeBron how to win, so it doesn't hurt him in that.
That's what I'm saying. So the only two people in here whose sidekick rings hurt them is Gasol and Pippen.
Well, here's a question for you, Johnny. So on this list here, there's obviously there's some definitive second options, right? But what about the alphas who had like their whole career, and then they started winning, like Robinson and Kareem, right? Like those are the guys who were prime, didn't have a ton of success. Mm-hmm. Does that affect them
No.
kind of in the overall rankings that they won kind of later on the backs?
Who you drafted by is not your fault. Scottie Pippen stays on the Supersonics. Michael Jordan don't have 6 rings.
Robinson rings don't hurt him, dude. I don't think it does.
I know it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Only 2 people here with these sidekick rings hurt them is Gasol and Pippen. Those are the only 2.
Rings don't hurt him at all.
So you don't.
They don't recognize him. They say he's not a top 75 player. They don't recognize Gasol's 2 championships. You can't run around talking about Gasol's a 2-time champion.
Robinson rings hurt him.
I don't think it hurt him one bit.
Well, that's what I'm saying is I don't think it hurts these guys because they had Hall of Fame careers before they had like their most success, right?
I mean, yeah, like Paris and McHale rings don't hurt them.
Like Kareem,
rings that really hurt him is Kobe and Pippen.
I don't think Kobe. Yeah. I don't think Kobe's rings hurt him. The only thing that hurts him is if you say it's a side ring. I mean, you're right. If you call him a sidekick ring, it hurts him.
Yeah, Kobe doesn't like the narrative of side.
You're right about that, Brandon. Yes, Kobe's another one with Gasol that gets hurt for the sidekick thing. Yes,
I don't think Gasol gets hurt as a sidekick at all. Gasol is not a top 75 player. Period.
But they don't never tell you he's a 2-time champion. They don't recognize him as a champion. That's the point.
He's a 2-time champion all the time.
No, they don't. They say it's because of Kobe, not because of nothing he did. He just played with Kobe, just like Pippen.
I have never. All the people that say that is when they talk about him winning the Finals MVP.
Kobe champion. I've heard him.
Yeah,
his dude.
Yeah, he gets.
Well, Gasol wasn't going to be like the.
He's not a top 100 player.
Yeah,
he's not a top 100 player anyway. So.
That's why. That's
not even top 100.
He should be. He should be with this resume. With his resume, he should be top 75. With the 2 championships, if rings matter, he should be.
Never heard him. That's a positive for Tony Parker. Way positive.
Help him.
That's what I'm saying. The only person
they don't even
okay, hold on, wait. He was but Brandon, you got to remember these are the championship rings as sidekicks is what I'm trying to display.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but I'm just saying like a lot of these players don't hurt them. It's just Kobe and Pippen.
I don't know. Gasol gets a lot of disrespect. A lot.
I don't hear no disrespect from Paul Gasol.
No, it's all praise, man.
He doesn't get. All the way. He doesn't get the respect Dumars get. All the way. He doesn't. Gasol doesn't get. Gasol doesn't get the
argument for final MVP for Gasol last week.
Who's y'all? That's Dwyane Wade who said that.
I mean, I said it a lot of times, but he doesn't get disrespected.
Did you see the pushback Dwyane Wade got for saying
exactly? They're killing Dwyane Wade for saying. That's what I'm saying. Matter of fact, he does. First of all, Paul Gasol doesn't get respect for the 2 championships as Robinson, as Steph does, and as Dumars does. And in reality, his career is better than Dumars.
I mean, like you should take Steph out and put Kevin Durant up here. Be honest with you, because his rings
Kevin Durant was a sidekick. I don't think he's a sidekick.
Is it better than Dumars? Doesn't Dumars have a DPOY?
Is disrespected more than anybody.
Dumars doesn't have a DPOY.
Nobody gets more disrespect as the number 1 option than KD.
Yeah,
KD
Kevin
was the number 1 option.
Like, it doesn't. I don't even know what type of list he's supposed to be on because it don't.
So you consider him the sidekick? He was a sidekick.
Apparently, he doesn't get any credit for his rings, and Kevin Durant knows it. That's why he's jumping teams.
I mean, that was a tough. Yeah, that situation was like a perfect blend, though.
Like we said, Steph won without him. Steph won after him. Like,
Steph gets Kevin Durant's credit.
They like KD should be staking Steph. He took the back seat.
Yeah.
Well, he literally went to the team that beat him. That's the thing.
True.
But that has nothing to do with it. He's still the best player on the team.
Well, sure. Yeah, he was the best player on the team, but like
he was clearly the best player on the team. Like it wasn't.
The story is how much.
Now we can say there's probably an asterisk because the team was instead of now building it for Steph and Clay, it's really built for Steph and KD, right? And they've got all those other guys to attach to the team to help KD and Steph work together. So,
well, here's a question: like if Durant, if Durant wins 2 rings, right, and 2 Finals MVPs on a different team other than Golden State, is he a top 10 player?
Yeah,
he's not gonna be the top dog now though. So wouldn't it be the same?
Top 10 player, definitely.
He's already getting close to top 10 to me.
I mean, he's
because he has an MVP, 2 Finals MVP, right? And like so, and
I got him 13th on my list now.
Yeah, I have him like 12. Like he would definitely like. I mean, you have like Hakeem 5th with 2 rings. So I mean, a lot of people have Hakeem in the top 10. So Kevin Durant's career is pretty.
Well, I think that's the best example though of like someone getting docked or
next Saturday. KD may be number 10 on my list. I'll tell you that. I ain't gonna tell y'all why, but
have faith in me, John. Have faith. Have faith, John.
Yo,
I got KD is 11, so
I have KD as 11 also.
Yeah,
I have 12.
KD is high. Like he can be have a career, just be a 50.
Well, his shooting splits over 17 years get him up there.
There's no reason Kevin Durant should not be top 10. The only reason because he played with Steph Curry.
Exactly. It's just the narrative.
Now the reason is Hakeem is 10.
Because Kevin Durant played with Steph Curry. That's why.
Listen, only Magic can get kudos for being in top 5 with someone who's considered top 3 or top 2, or however he can. That has no effect on his position. That only applies to Magic Johnson. Kobe, Shaq is borderline to people top 10, top 5, and it's docked because he played with Shaq for 3 titles.
Well, if anything, like shouldn't Kareem take a hit though because he played his entire prime. He only won like basically.
Say Kareem won one without Magic. Magic never.
Well, yeah, he won exactly one without Magic, but then like his entire prime, his best prime, right, was just 1 ring, and then Magic came over, was a top 5 player, and then Magic was the best player by maybe 80, 85, 86, but then like does that knock Kareem, since Magic basically hit the ground running, right? Was a Finals MVP.
This is the problem when you have 2 number 1 players on the same team. You can't. It's always going to be a who is who.
Yeah.
The big problem.
Kobe. They didn't know. Only Jerry West knew who Kobe was going to be before everyone else. That's how they even got Kobe. None of us knew who Kobe was going to be. If someone told you when they drafted Kobe at 18 years old, this man going to do half the shit he did with and without Shaq, you wouldn't believe them.
Well, John Calipari said he knew Kobe was going to be there because he wanted to draft Kobe.
Hey, John, do you have Sean Leonard ranked higher than Kobe all time?
You know what? We never let John get his take in. John, go ahead and respond to all of this, and then we're gonna get in with the today's Craig's segment as well. So chime in. Go ahead. You can just don't mention the Bulls because
I believe the conversation has always been told is the story. The media telling the story decides who the sidekick is, and we all know it. I mean, just like how you describing this, the thing about Shaq and Wade, it was all about the story being told. I mean, we all know who was the number one guy that year, and it was Wade. But the story being told, Shaq was the leader, so Shaq is the number one guy. Kobe was the sidekick because of the story being told. We know by 01 who was the guy on that team and who was really doing it. I mean, like I said, I tell people this all the time. I had heard two bad things about Pippen in his career. Once in 1994, and then once the GOAT debate started. Those are the two things I ever heard negative about Scottie Pippen. I had never heard this much pushback on Scottie through his whole career. I mean, you got to think in 93, 94, he was considered one of the top players in the league. And now it's like, oh, he was nothing for them championship rings. I felt like in 98, before he had the back injury, he was going to be the finals MVP in 98. I think he was having that good of a series. I mean, Jordan was having a great series too, but I think Scottie was really doing his thing on the offensive end and defensive end, and the way he ran the team was great. But the sidekick story is the story being told. Just like Gilbert Arenas said, Kobe had 3 rings. And the conversation at that time, forget that he never won any time in the first round. The story being told, who was the best shooting guard in the league, Tracy McGrady or Kobe Bryant. And I was hearing a lot of conversations that Tracy McGrady was better than Kobe.
They were saying that because he was tall and linkier. He had long arms and stuff.
Facts. It was that he was taller. He was just as athletic, and he could score just as good. So he was considered a better passer than Kobe. He was a willing passer. Let me say it like that. He was a willing passer. And so that was the story. So I believe the conversation we have is the story that's being told and not like what we're actually seeing when you're watching the game. And that's the difference in this whole thing, the media. And that's why I love it so much that the players are actually speaking now and their voice are really being heard. And sometimes I think the media hates that the players are actually speaking today because the media can't just tell one story and that be the story. One of the biggest pushbacks I think on LeBron's career is that he tells his own story. He doesn't allow who is his media member? We know Jordan's media members was Ahmad Rashad. Who is LeBron's media member?
Clutch Boy.
So I mean,
Clutch Boy.
Yes. So we all know the story being told decides who the sidekick is. Just like, for example, we all know who should have won Finals MVP last year. The guy who led in points, rebound, assists, everything. And then Jaylen Brown got Finals MVP. Because the story being told at the time, because Jaylen Brown didn't make an All-NBA team, now it was a push that don't nobody had nothing against Jaylen Brown. But Tatum gets a hit because of the story being told at the time. And that's what happens. And then he gets put on the bench for the USA team. It's all the story being told. So it's a story that they telling us is who's the sidekick is every year.
That's why you got to win more than 2 final MVPs. But
I have Jason Tatum top 5 all time.
Final MVP, and then you like, oh, the short shit, son. 1 is a fluke. 2, I got to believe you, man. I got to believe you got to do it more than once. You can't just have 1 final MVP and talk shit. You got to have more than 1.
Well, Steph got 1 finals MVP and KD
That's
got 2.
That's why he ain't in my top 10.
That's fucked up. All right, so let me ask y'all this. For those who think Shaq was a sidekick in 2006, so does Shaq have 4 championships or 3?
Well, he has 4 definitely, but I mean, it's...
So the sidekick championship don't hurt Shaq?
It doesn't like, it just depends on your criteria. I can't possibly use a criteria, right, that hurts people.
It doesn't hurt Shaq, right, Brandon? Because Brandon said he was a sidekick. Does it hurt Shaq? Yes or no?
Elevate Shaq because he was willing to take a step back to win. And before he wasn't.
And Brandon be all over the place. Brandon say if you don't win a championship, you're gonna be a better player.
I said the media says that. What are you talking about? I said the media.
No, I know, but you're the only person I ever heard that think that somebody's gonna be praised more for not winning a championship.
Just think if Shaq would have moved to the side.
What did I say? You praise more for not winning?
That's true, Brandon. You said
that. You said that if Kobe didn't have the 3 rings and he had
he
the
would
2,
be ranked higher, not by the media. Damn.
That's what I'm saying. You're the only person that thinks that.
The media believes that. I'm not the media. The media believes that.
No, I'm just saying you're the only person that think the media thinks that. I don't think nobody else thinks that. I don't think nobody else would think the media would do that.
Well, Brandon,
yes, it would.
I'm not arguing with you. You're right. You have a right to your opinion. I'm just saying I'm not gonna argue with you. I don't think you're right or wrong.
You are the media.
I'm just saying I've just never heard that.
Brandon,
we are the media. We are the media. Brandon knows. You guys see it.
We got the mainstream media, the one with the loud voices complaining about shit like Stephen A. Smith and all of the other ones.
I don't think it's Scottie Pippen's ring.
Brandon, they take our takes, Brandon. Right? They take our takes, Brandon.
Jesse Jeffrey is on ESPN now, just so you know.
No, I'm not even gonna lie, Brandon. The take of the Miami Heat not being a super team, that should start right here in GOAT James Kingdom.
They are still mad at that.
Who's saying that on the media?
I've seen it circulate, and I know we were the first. Because Brandon, to tell you, I was one of the first people to walk around here telling y'all that Miami Heat team of 2011 was nowhere near a super team at all. Brandon knows.
Yeah, I always said that was a terrible assembled team.
But you know what's never
they ain't have enough Hall of Famers on it. That's why you said it wasn't a simple team.
Nah, it was just a bad roster. On it. Yeah, it was just a bad roster for him. But you know what's never assembled messed up? A pair of Michael Jordan sneakers. Unless you wear them on a basketball court, then you really see how they assembled. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get on to our segment so that we can put the link up for all our DJK members and all our people watching us in the show chat. But you guys know here on GOAT James Kingdom, we got great guys who come up here to talk the game of basketball. And Craig is a big-time sneakerhead who shows us the most, infamous Jordan sneakers or just the infamous sneakers in basketball history. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on with the soul of the game on GOAT James Kingdom.
With that, these shoes that we're about to design with words starts with a soul. Not a soul, but a soul, what touches you to earth that's floating in nowhere, the soul.
Yeah. Well, this week I was going to do something, and then the topic of discussion made me change my mind because I wanted to do this one. But this week we're going to highlight, it's going to be 2 shoes that we're going to highlight, 2 different models. And the reason why I want to highlight these 2 different models, because he wore these models and when he did something that no one else in the NBA history has ever done. So in 1995, 96, and 96, 97, that's when he won the second three-peat. He won finals MVP for those 2 seasons, but as well as at that time to reach the finals and the conference finals, he defeated a 60-win team in both the Eastern Conference and the finals multiple years, which is the only finals MVP award recipient to do that. And the shoes he wore was the Air Jordan 12 and the Air Jordan 11. So these are the 2 shoes that he wore when he did that feat that no one else beating 2 teams. In 96, 95, he beat the 60-win Magic and the 64-win Sonics. And in 97, he beat the 61 team Miami Heat, and then he beat the 62-win team Utah Jazz. The only final MVP award recipient to do that. And this is the shoes he wore: the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Jordan 12. So yeah,
shout out to the 97 Heat.
I just had to throw that heat out there. As well as none of them series went past game 6. None of them series. Just to throw that out there too.
That's my favorite team, man. People sleep on Heat? 97 Heat. Yeah.
Yeah, they almost had him. They took him to game 6.
He was full of ballers, man.
Yo. So I almost got my ass beat for those J's, but I know how to run.
Is that B. Lee?
No, that's not B. Lee. I know how to run. I know how to run. Unlike Gilbert Arenas, who got his ass whooped for them J's. I run. They ain't catch me with them J's. Fact. So, but we don't put the link up for y'all.
The panel leather ones here in Chicago are called the Killer Mics. It was a lot of deaths around those panel leather black and red mics. In the city, they was called the Killer Mics.
I mean, what's the point of having Jordans if somebody could catch you and whoop your ass for them? Like, you got to be able to run in Jordans. Y'all need supposed to be able to fly. Y'all can't fly in Jordans. Y'all can't run in Jordans. Like, catch y'all.
You can't do none of it because once they bend up front, it's a wrap.
They meant to be worn on hardwood floor, not cement pavement.
Yes.
Yeah, y'all motherfuckers wear them to job interviews. I don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about.
What up, Jobs? What are you doing?
Oh, Twin Man up here. What's up,
Twin Man? Twin Man.
What's up, bro? I'm still not talking to you, John. Still not talking.
Which one of these guys was sidekicks or not? Yes or no? Which one?
Ask him what's his definition of a sidekick before you answer, because his is all over the place.
That's true. What is it?
No,
what is
it's
a sidekick? What's a sidekick, Twin Man?
Kobe Bryant.
Person who is not the focal point of the team. The team is usually going to be built around the primary player of that team. So a player like Shaq, a player like LeBron, a player like Jordan, the team was built around them. So people who stand out to me are Pippen, Wade, Kobe, Dumar. I think Steph needs to come off.
So Steph,
Gasol.
So KD was the sidekick.
Yes, unfortunately.
From your definition.
Even though he was the best player, that was Steph's team. Because they were still running the same offense where it was primarily based around shooting threes. So I think Steph will come off.
Okay, so Steph comes off because the funny thing is that like Brandon was saying, nobody really calls either one of them a sidekick. It's kind of an odd situation.
Right, and back to that list, it's weird, but Magic and Kareem get the same treatment. Even though, in my opinion, when they got Magic, that was Magic's team.
Well, Kareem really
nobody before 91 was labeled a sidekick. They was just a team.
I'm just giving you my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm just giving you my opinion. It was still widely seen as Kareem's team, but in my opinion, once they got Magic, I think Kareem took a back seat to hand the team over to Magic.
So Kareem got 5 sidekick rings?
3.
Honestly, yeah.
I just got one question for Twin Man.
How can your top 3 players in history have 5 sidekicks?
He was the MVP in 1980. Kareem was a sidekick in 80 when he was MVP?
I just asked Twin Man one question.
Go ahead.
Who was the sidekick in 72?
Knew he was going to say something about the Knicks, bro. I'm not talking to
Kareem.
So you won't tell me who the sidekick was in 72. You personally should know. I'm asking.
I'm not talking to you, John. I'm not talking to you. Hurt my feelings talking about my Knicks, and I'm not talking to you. This is not about the top. I'm not talking to you.
We're talking about the past. And I mean, 72 was a long time ago. I'm just asking who was the sidekick for that team a long time ago.
Oh, Rob.
So look.
Who would you say is the sidekick?
He says Steph is not a sidekick, and to be honest with you, Twin Man, we got somebody else here who says Kareem's not a sidekick. So Magic has 5 sidekick rings. Who has the sidekick rings on Kareem? That's why I said the sidekick logic only started with Pippen.
Well, here's the thing. If you
now hold up. I agree with that, Johnny. It definitely started with Pippen. But if we're gonna take the narrative all through NBA history, that's why I said it's my opinion, the Kareem and Magic thing. That's my opinion. I can't give that a definitive who was a sidekick in that instance. But if we're gonna be honest, the only true sidekicks on this list, if you go back to the list, Because I can't even say David Robinson was a sidekick. He kind of gave the keys over to Tim Duncan.
You guys got to remember, this is not just being a sidekick. This is sidekick rings. We're trying to figure out, do sidekick rings count? Robinson. No. So you saying sidekick rings don't count?
Knicks.
And the way it normally does, it doesn't. It doesn't count because look at the disrespect Scottie got his entire career. When honestly, if Scottie's not there, Jordan doesn't win 6.
That's what I'm saying. He's proving our point. Scottie Pippen is a definite sidekick. There's for sure. They said Duncan was a sidekick. When was Duncan a sidekick?
Goodman, here's a take
Duncan
for you.
was not a sidekick.
Brandon Chat G2PT told me the sidekick in 1972 was Willis Reed. Because
I knew you was going
to answer my question, so I asked somebody who I thought.
Twin Man. So here's a question for you. So out of, I'd say you can only be a sidekick, right? If you win rings and you're not leading in any category. The only players that happened to on that list were, I believe, Kareem for his last 2 rings and David Robinson.
No, the sidekick competition started.
Would you rather have sidekick rings or no rings? How about that? That should be the question. Would you rather be a sidekick to some rings?
Honestly,
if
I'm Derek Fisher, I got the same 5 rings Kobe got.
Right, a ring's a ring. I'm gonna be real, but we're talking about how NBA and NBA looks at these players. Who's giving love to Robert Horry?
Allen Iverson give more respect than Scottie Pippen.
That's real talk. Like John's not wrong.
Chris Paul too.
Yes.
Not wrong. Steve Nash gets more love than Scottie Pippen.
So what y'all want? Like, rings that bad for the sidekick, but then y'all don't want ring culture to be based on rings only. I'm confused.
It shouldn't be. Their NBA careers shouldn't be based off. It should be based off.
But then you don't want rings
talent level.
Now somebody ranks someone with no rings. Oh, someone
Scottie Pippen's rings.
The NBA contract.
Let him count Scottie 6.
The NBA contract.
Count Scottie. It's gonna hurt Jordan.
The NBA contract.
Right. Let's be real. If Scottie's not there, they don't win 6. If Scottie's not there, they don't win 6, bro.
It helps Jordan. You got to give Kyrie his ring because it helps Jordan. Nobody cares about Mikal, Paris, Tony Parker, Steph Curry, Kevin. Nobody cares about those players.
I'm glad that Brandon.
75 players you name. All these players is top 75 except for Gasol.
Brandon, you said it best.
Maybe.
You said it best, Brandon. It depends on the GOAT debate. Pippen affects the GOAT debate. Kobe affects the GOAT debate. Steph affects the GOAT debate. Dwyane affects the GOAT debate.
That's why he up here 3 times. Steph the debate. He up here 2 times.
Shut one, man.
I ain't gonna keep saying that. Y'all got weight up here.
Well, we got to replace Steph. We got to replace Steph for KD.
Yeah, you have to, even though he was the best player on the team. You got to replace him because we all know Kevin Durant's rings don't.
They brought KD. They brought KD there for Steph.
Yes, I thought it was for LeBron, but
yeah. So, in the sense of what I said in 06, so that would make KD the thing. But usually people usually say Steph's the sidekick. That's why I put him in there. I didn't base sidekick.
Johnny, honestly, I've never heard anybody say Steph was the sidekick in that situation. They said that Steph basically saved KD. KD had to run the Steph to get those rings.
That was after 2022. Because after 2019, KD was the best player in the world.
Now, the only person that was pushing that bullshit narrative was Skip Bayless.
No, it was all of them. Again, it wasn't until Kobe did win without Kevin Durant. Because remember, the first championship, people feel like, okay, Kyrie Irving got hurt, Kevin Love wasn't there.
Yeah.
So he won.
If that was the reason Kevin Durant would have never left. That was loud in Kevin Durant's ear all the time. That's why he left. He was thinking about leaving.
I don't know. Yeah, he did
2019 season after they won it.
No, I know that, but when he left, people thought Brooklyn was title contenders. Remember, he went with KD. I mean, he went with Kyrie and Harden. He just missed the 3-point shot by putting his foot on the line.
He left for a reason, though. That's what I'm saying. Like Kevin Durant left for a reason.
I know what he said, but what I'm saying was the consensus in the media and the talk in the media was because after those 2 championships, it was Kevin Durant that was praised for the 2 Finals MVPs for winning those championships.
No, he was not. That's the reason why he wanted to leave.
He did a dumb move. He did a
That's the reason he wanted to leave.
3-1 lead, and he went to go Jordan. Yeah. He got a 3-1 lead.
The backlash he got from going.
Legacy.
He was getting trashed for it.
on the Golden State, and then the doors that Brandon is talking about why he left.
Oh, yeah, this is just the automatic championship. This is KD.
Right.
Snake. He left a team that he was up 3-1 and joined the team.
Brandon, we can go back, Brandon. We were doing this right before the Warriors won a championship in 2022.
If it wasn't the reason, he would never left, Johnny. I'm sorry.
Brandon,
he would have never left.
He left because he accomplished what he wanted to. He solidified his career with two championships, finals MVPs.
Incorrect, Johnny.
No.
Hey, Johnny,
Green said
wrong.
they wanted him gone.
I'm not wrong. Y'all don't remember history. Y'all are talking after.
You're the only one who don't, Johnny. You're the only one who don't. That's the problem. Everyone else is disagreeing.
Because
Kevin Durant disagrees with you.
There was never an argument on ESPN that Kevin Durant was the best player in the world after 2019.
Yes. I'm not disagreeing with that.
That's what I said. He was the best player in the world. No. Why? Why was he considered the best player in the world? He beat LeBron James for back-to-back championships and final.
LeBron James got hurt.
KD was hurt.
When did LeBron get hurt?
He wasn't the best player. KD was hurt. That's what he said.
When they lost to Toronto.
Hold on. Hey, Johnny. We're not talking about if there was a conversation if he was the best player in the world. We're talking about why he left Golden State.
The best player in the world in the Sidekick.
He got hurt.
Hold on. I can tell you. Because the offense was predicated around Steph Curry.
Okay.
I was like, you gonna say it? I'm saying.
Okay. So again, my point is that after KD won those championships, those two back-to-back final MVPs, those two back-to-back championships, the conversation was that leapfrogged him. The ring culture leapfrogged him ahead of LeBron.
Okay,
but nobody believes that.
Remember this conversation we had, Brandon? How come the conversation was Stephen Curry tied LeBron with 4, but it was never Stephen Curry tying LeBron with 3?
Because he won his ring in 2022 because he played with Steph, because Kevin Durant was the best player on the team.
I'm going to ask the question again. Yeah. Why was the conversation? It's the same scenario. He matches LeBron with 4 in 2022. He matches LeBron with 3 in 2018. No one says Stephen Curry and LeBron have the same amount of championships. After that happened,
on the team. Because Kevin Durant's best player on the team.
That's what I just said. So after he won the 2 championships, he was considered the best player in the world. He got boosted up to that level. They lost the championship. He left that team. Even after that 2019, because remember, Stephen Curry didn't make the playoffs in 2020. He looked horrible.
You just misremembering everything.
Because what I'm telling you is, as soon as Stephen Curry won in 2022, everybody got amnesia and forgot what they were saying about KD in 2019.
No.
Okay,
no. Why did Draymond Green and Kevin Durant get into it in 2019?
Because Draymond Green ran around and dribbled the ball out of bounds like an idiot.
No, why?
Because he's an idiot.
What did he say to him? What did he say to Kevin Durant?
We don't need Kevin Durant a bit. He called Kevin Durant a bit.
We don't need
you.
He said we don't need you.
They obviously did.
And he's been hearing that for 2 years prior. Once he heard it from the teammate, he was done. He's like, okay, well, everyone thinks this. Everyone's thinking
hold up, Brandon. This is that weird situation that you get into. This is that weird situation y'all get into when both of y'all be right. So there was absolutely a conversation about Kevin Durant being the best basketball player in the world, but we know that was predicated on LeBron hate. They had to boost somebody over LeBron.
Thank you. That's my point. That's why I'm saying.
Let me finish.
That's why Steph was considered a 2-time sidekick, not Kevin Durant.
No,
but go ahead.
I feel you. Let me finish. We already know why Kevin Durant left.
Your logic, Steph.
But we know why Kevin Durant left.
Steph
felt like
Durant with those Finals MVP.
Because like you said, Twin Man.
Finals MVP.
No, my logic is what Twin Man said, because the team is built around Stephen Curry, so you can kick Kevin Durant off.
Why he's on this list for the Sidekick rings then?
Because at that time the narrative was that's the sidekick. But like I said, I just told you we can switch it. We can make it KD. I'm not going to say I don't care who the sidekick now. They both got 2 championships under that span. They've all got 2. Listen, Stephen Curry's championships are not more valuable than Klay Thompson's, Draymond Green's, or Iguodala's. They all got 4 championships under the same situations. I don't care what nobody tells me. Your championship ring is your championship ring. They're all winners. They're all 4-time champions. What separates them is their production. That's what I always tell y'all. It's your production, what you actually do on the basketball court. That's what I always tell y'all. Stats, accolades, and achievements. That's what I go by. I don't knock players for being on a second fiddle or whatever the hell y'all want to call them.
Exactly. Production matters.
Let's let some other guys up here because we got some other guys here as well. Shout out to Juan Boy in the building. Peace and blessings, brother. What you got for us today?
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James.
God.
I'm looking at this list with the guys with the sidekick rings, and it's a nasty discussion altogether because it's a team sport, so everybody has to contribute. You know, you can't go say that Tim Duncan will win his first 2 rings without David Robinson. No, David Robinson was just enough of a leader to take a back seat to somebody younger, more skilled, more polished on both ends. And now what people are doing are they are taking these guys as sidekicks to either boost Kobe up or tear him down. So it's like a double-edged sword because we all know that he won 3 rings as a sidekick. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. He was a great player. Shaq probably doesn't win those 3 rings without Kobe. Nobody's saying that. But he was the sidekick. And we just talking about, what he did with Shaq. Kareem, that's debatable because, Kareem still had some good prime years. Like you said, Kareem got hurt, but he also won MVP the year Magic won his first title. So there's no clear-cut answer to who the best player on the team was because everybody contributed in different ways. And so, I just think it's a nasty conversation to discredit guys like Kobe or Scottie Pippen because they don't win those rings without those players.
I don't think they're trying to discredit Kobe. I think what it is that at the end of the day, the way we've always talked about basketball, there's always been a hierarchy of who was the bus driver, who was the passenger. And unfortunately, in that situation with Shaq and Kobe, Shaq was clearly the bus driver. So if we're gonna utilize the logic that has been initiated because of the situation with Jordan and Pippen, Kobe's falling in the realm of a sidekick. Despite how many people want to make Kobe a 1B, guess what? 1B comes after 1A, which still makes you number 2.
A sidekick.
Yeah, but like I said, because it's either to boost Kobe up or to tear him down because nobody's doing this with the 94.
But hold on, wait. But let me ask you this, Juan Boy. Do you consider a sidekick, for one, a negative?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right. Do you consider sidekicks at all? Do you consider anything about a sidekick? Do you even care? Do you just, for you, it's just there's obviously the main guy, which everything is focused around, and then there's a lot of other guys who help that main guy.
No, not at all, because there's always going to be the guy on the team, and then everybody else after that.
That's what I'm saying. So the sidekick is really no difference in the third option, fourth option, fifth option, because they all have the same basically role is to help the main guy.
Because look,
correct?
In 2015, Iguodala won Finals MVP, and he wasn't even the second best player on the team.
Yeah, but that's just Finals MVP. You know what I'm saying? Like he played good for 3 games. Like we can't that's why I don't like the Finals. Finals MVP does not dictate your impact on winning for that team. We all know the second best player on that 2015 team. When does the media say that?
I think
I think when did they say that?
I think
I never heard the media say that. They just vote for it. They vote for everything. They vote for the all NBA team.
I think sidekick matters.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we're gonna let Tyson in right quick. I just wanted to get Juan Boys in there, make sure Juan Boy get his taken. Blue Ball, I see you in the back. Just give us a second. We want to take care of some GJK members first. Obviously GJK members get taken care of. Peace and blessings there, Zero. But shout out to Tyson who's in the building, another GJK member.
What's up? Salute.
LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James. LeBron James.
So what you got for today's topic, brother?
I think when we talk about sidekicks, I think I put it in the chat earlier. I think that narrative gets either removed or lessened when you do win a championship as a number one. Kareem was a number one player, and even though he won championships as sidekicks, we don't look at it the same way because he did win as a number one. Steph Curry did win as a number one. All those Dwyane Wade. Most people see it, whether you agree or disagree, that he won with a number one. That's why the narrative is, LeBron James joined a championship player. You know what I'm saying? Those type of narratives. So I think those narratives get lessened when you do actually win as a number one. Same situation with Kobe. Even though he was a sidekick or however y'all want to describe it in those 3 championships, he proved he can win as a number one. Therefore, the narrative gets lessened or removed that he, that sidekick narrative. Pippen for his career was a sidekick his whole career. So that narrative never gets a chance to get lessons. If they would have won in 95, then that narrative changes. So that's my take on it. You talk about all these players, career sidekicks like Parrish, Gasol, well, as far as winning, those players don't get that acclaim. So that's the big difference when we talk about career side or winning as a sidekick and winning as both.
What makes you number one?
Hey Tyson, was Kyrie a sidekick in 16?
Sure.
Okay.
What makes you a number one?
And if he wins as a number one, I think that narrative would change.
What makes you a number one?
And some people, real quick, before I answer that question, some people would then even take that and discredit LeBron even more. If Kyrie went to Boston and wins championships, then that narrative of LeBron gets even lessened, for the haters. Kyrie could do it as a number. He had a great player. So if Kyrie was number one, then he could still win. He won with a number one. Those type of narratives would even be more devastating to LeBron's legacy by the haters. Go ahead.
What makes you number one?
What makes you a number one?
I'm still trying to figure out what makes somebody a number one. You can say stats because I know you like stats. So you can say stats if you want to say it's fine. Stats is
it's not just stats. Necessarily who you run the offense. A team can take a player. It's 5 players on the team. They can take a number one away. But what are you sacrificing to take that player away? Obviously, he's going to have guys to get open shots, and other players, NBA players, are going to make shots when they're wide open. So, if somebody's taking a number one away and other guys are getting off, they're still the number one player. So
the number one is the guy who's the offense is predicated around, and the team is built around, correct?
Right. If when Mario Chalmers goes off for 30 or whatever have you, because the defense is trying to stop the certain player, that didn't make him the number one player for that game. You know what I'm saying? He just took advantage of having open shots and whatnot. But even the offense, it's not necessarily, offense is predicated around. But if the player obviously is just going off and the defense can't stop him, even though the game plan switched. A player can have a great game and be like the number one option for that game. You know what I'm saying? Like Dwyane Wade, he wasn't just getting off because of Shaq's gravity in that finals. Dwyane Wade was doing the shit, period.
But I'm saying you can't give him credit for just the finals because the Shaq was the leading everything till that point. So they go down 0-2, everything was running through Shaq.
Okay.
Tyson Wade is from Chicago.
And that's the reason why.
What?
You can say they won that series because they made Dwyane Wade the first option and the main guy for that series. Yes, you can say that. But the whole team was able to do that due to the fact that Gary Payton's not there to hit that that critical clutch shot in game 3. We don't win that series as well. We don't. You guys don't forget that Shaquille O'Neal in the clinching game versus Detroit in that same series, Dwyane Wade didn't play well. It was Shaq who dominated that game and took us to the finals. This is the
first time I ever hear you give 90s player more credit than a 2000s player. I love that.
I think Shaq is one. Wait, I think Shaq is one of the greatest players to ever play the game. And in fact, I am going to do a stream called the disrespect of Shaq. The disrespect of Shaq stops in GOAT James Kingdom. We're gonna stop this, Brandon. Shaq was one of the most dominant players I've ever seen, and I will tell you this right now. Y'all can get mad at me right now. I've said a lot of things to get y'all mad. Shaq would have more championships without Kobe. That's fact. That's just the fact.
I agree.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna just leave it there.
Shaq will have more championships.
He would have more championships without Kobe. Yes.
That's why,
and that's what's gonna. And I'm gonna prove it when I do my show. I'm gonna show you the players Shaq could have won championships with, and would have won more championships, including Tracy McGrady. He would have won more championships with Tracy McGrady.
That's regardless of the point, though. Most people see Dwyane Wade as being the number one on that team, whether you agree or disagree.
I know what most people do.
I'm saying that changes the narrative of Dwyane Wade being the sidekick.
I get it. That's why GOAT James Kingdom exists, because that silly narrative of Dwyane Wade when motherfuckers was in middle school watching Dwyane Wade goes out the door. But
do you agree? Do you agree with my point?
What you just said about a number one option, that was Shaq, not Dwyane Wade.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not here to disagree or agree with that point. Most people see it as Dwyane Wade being the number one on that team. You disagree, that's fine. I'm just saying, when you talk about Kevin McHale, Scottie Pippen, Paul Gasol, and all these sidekicks and championships, they don't get that label removed because they didn't do it as number ones. That was my point.
No, the whole number one things, that the reason it didn't start with McHale, it didn't start with Kareem and Magic and all, it didn't matter. Magic didn't win one as a number one. He had Kareem for all five of his, and everything was predicated on giving Kareem the ball to do to the Skyhook. So
Magic was never considered the number one on any of those championships.
But that's my point. How many rings do you count then? That's what I'm saying. How many of those rings count?
That's my point. It doesn't matter.
Does he have 5 rings though?
If it's just one.
So Scottie
because
Pippen
that gets removed when you get it gets removed or
because Jordan never relinquished responsibility for Scottie to score. Forget all the other stuff Scottie Pippen was responsible for, because Jordan wouldn't allow Scottie to score. Because you got to remember that '96 team was built for Scottie. That after Jordan left, they brought in Kerr, Harper, Kukoc, Longley. All those guys were brought in for Pippen. Scottie Pippen, when Michael Jordan returned, Phil Jackson said it word for word. Scottie Pippen's the best player. He makes everything run for everything that we do here. He just does more than Jordan. That's what he does. That's Phil Jackson's words.
So you're saying Pippen was the number one on our team?
By the way you talk about options, yeah. Because we're not going off of the stats.
Pippen was the number one option on offense?
No, see, you didn't say by being the number one option on offense. You said who the offense is predicated around. The offense is predicated around Scottie Pippen.
When I say that, I'm talking about the number one option.
Yeah. Okay, so the guy who takes the most shots. That's what he's going. That's what you're going off of stats.
I'm not going off of stats again.
What makes you a number one option? Again, the offense was predicated around Scottie Pippen, getting all those guys involved, including Michael Jordan. He was the guy all-around player for the Bulls. That's what Phil Jackson said.
That's what the triangle offense is predicated around, right? Somebody like Scottie.
Well, they won't give Scottie. I'm not gonna go as far as give Scottie all 6, because you already know I give Scottie credit for all 6 championships. But I'm just saying for the idea of this, again, the first option started with Scottie. Nobody was saying none of this before. When Bird was winning championships, because Cedric Maxwell and JoJo White was on the team, and all these other guys
elevated their careers.
Exactly. But for Scottie, for some reason, he can't, because y'all assume he was never a first.
When do y'all want him to elevate him? Y'all want him top 5? Like, I'm confused. Like, what?
I don't understand that you're saying that Scottie Pippen was the number one option.
Top 20. No, because the team and everything was predicated around him.
If 6-0 makes Jordan to win, was for him. It elevates Scottie Pippen. That's what we're saying.
I just told you why.
Ask your own rankings. You guys have rankings. You guys don't have.
No, I just told you why. Literally.
No, I'm just talking about from the media. That's all. It's not from us. From the media.
I just feel like the disrespect of
nobody considers Pippen the number one option.
Listen, the number one option is always the best.
I don't care what everybody thinks. To be honest with you, Tyson, a lot of people think the world is flat. Do I care? No.
Well, you're asking these questions.
Because I wanted to make sure how you determine the first option. You said that the team that's built around the offense is built around them. I'm telling you.
No, I said
in '95 when Scottie Pippen was the number one option, Jordan returned to be Scottie Pippen's sidekick. The Bulls' whole team and the whole offense that they were running around that time.
Why do y'all blame Jordan for losing in the second round to Magic? Then I don't hear nothing about Pippen, right? The main guy.
Because we never
all about Jordan is the reason why.
Because when we hold Jordan to the standards that Jordan fans hold other people to, all of a sudden it becomes a silly logic. Just like how you explained it.
I don't care. I don't care who the offense was built around. The fact is, when Jordan came back to the team, because we know what happened. Because we know what happened.
Yeah, the stats. Jordan scored more and shot more.
Because he took over the offense. Whoever it was built for, he took over the offense from a scoring standpoint.
Phil said Scottie does more than Jordan. You can look at the scores all you want to. Scottie is the guy. That's what he said. That's what Phil said. I'm gonna go with Phil, not you. Since you want to go say what everybody else said, I'm gonna go with what Phil said.
This is the semantics that we go through. We saw what happened on the floor, regardless of what he said.
First of all, I'm not gonna cut you off, Tyson. Go ahead and land your plane, brother, please.
All I was saying was, regardless of what Phil Jackson said, we were able to watch and see who was taking the shots, taking the big shots, who was scoring more, who was lifting, who was you know what I'm saying, in control, who the offense was predicated around as far as on the floor. Now, if it was predicated in the coaching room, they were saying Pippen is going to take this shot and Jordan took him. I'm sorry, Jordan took him. So that's what we see with our own eyes.
Predicated around someone who didn't want to pass the ball to Kukoc for the final shot. That's crazy. Jordan would.
I don't know. They called the offense for him, and I remember the Paxson play was called for Paxson instead of Jordan. I remember the Kerr shot was for also Kerr, not for Jordan.
Yeah, but I don't remember Jordan saying I'm not going to go into the game because somebody else is going to take the shot. I ain't seen nobody.
Yeah, because Jordan could do what he wanted to do.
Jordan got a lot of those.
Jordan quit though. Jordan said I don't want to play no more because my life is too much.
Jordan said they double team. I'm gonna give you the ball. I ain't never hit Pippen say I'm a double team. I'm gonna give you the ball. I heard Pippen say I'm not getting in the game because
that wasn't a play call.
Nobody.
They could have did
that.
Our
coach don't believe you. The coach that told you do everything. Don't believe you can hit a shot to win a game.
He did because he called the play for him to get the play before. Okay. He did believe that.
Okay, the guy that you said Pippen said does the ball and does everything. He didn't.
I didn't say that. I said Phil said that. Go argue with Phil. Go argue with Phil.
And trust him.
You're not a coach. Phil didn't tell Phil. Your assessment of what Phil did. You're not a coach.
In the playoffs.
You're not a coach. Your assessment of Phil's strategy is asinine. It means nothing because you don't know how to coach basketball. For you to challenge him and say that he can't call a call for Tony Kukoc and Pippen can't get angry about it, it's nothing to do with the conversation. It's again, this is what y'all do because Michael Jordan couldn't win without Scottie Pippen. That's what y'all should be saying. Michael Jordan is the one that should have won championships without Scottie, not the vice versa. Because he's the one who only won with Scottie, and he's the only one who quit because he couldn't have Scottie. That's facts. So let's go there.
That's no argument. Nobody's arguing that.
I'm saying you can't argue facts. I don't bring up nothing but facts, not my opinions.
Right.
You can argue my opinions. Brandon knows my opinions. That's why he argues it all the time.
All right, let's call them.
Those are facts that he didn't win without Scottie Pippen.
Let's get blue vote in, please. Let's get blue vote in, please. Y'all get mad at Jordan all the time. Y'all be
that doesn't mean that Jordan wasn't the number one. Like, what is that point?
Really zesty, real, bro. Y'all get really mad, bro. Y'all act like y'all in a relationship with Michael Jordan, bro.
Where will we get mad? You know.
No, you got to tell LeBron not to take the last shot.
Did I get mad? Did I curse at the brother?
Wait. All right, John. Come on, man. Come on. All right.
What's going on, bro? What's going
on? What's his face? Just pick a point guard. No one would tell LeBron not to take. We want LeBron to take the last shot. It's his.
That's a lie. He said, Kyrie, take this shot, Kyrie. I'm tired. And Kyrie took the shot. Y'all be lying.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Y'all be lying.
That's what happened, though. That's what happened. That's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Dwyane Wade, you want the Finals MVP, Dwyane Wade? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
It's a unselfish.
Jordan never had that in his resume.
I mean?
That's why he needed Phil. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm gonna cut myself off.
No. You're right. But salute to everybody in the panel, man. Like, can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, this course about ring culture and second option and sidekick, it's all a toxic narrative started by the media. Y'all got to understand this shit, man. Like, when nobody talk about sidekicks, when nobody talk about, who team is it?
when the media of Michael Jordan came in. Period. End of story. You know I'm a Jordan guy, you know what I mean? But even I recognize the whole narrative around trying to protect Michael Jordan's legacy for whatever reason to make him bigger than he already is. He don't need enough credit to what he already has. And you see Scottie Pippen fell a victim to that shit, right? Because they loved it. Like, even like back in the 90s, for somebody to say Scottie Pippen was important to the Chicago Bulls was blasphemy and straight up disingenuous. I was watching them games in the 90s, okay? I was watching those games. And like, Scottie Pippen was one of the most important, integral pieces of those Bulls championships. You can't act like he wasn't. The rebounding, the scoring, the defense, the assist, all that shit. So was who?
Kobe.
I'm not saying he wasn't. That's a whole different conversation where I'm going to get to. But anyway, like, this whole ring culture thing, like, Michael Jordan, they were calling Michael Jordan the greatest of all time as soon as 1991. King John knows this. He's from Chicago. You know what I mean? King John knows that. He knows that. ESPN, Sports Illustrated, all the basketball National Enquirer. Everybody was the streets of Smith. Everybody said he's on the verge of becoming the greatest of all time. And when he won his first and second ring, greatest of all time. Greatest basketball player we have ever seen. Kareem had 6 back then. Magic had more rings. Larry Bird had 3. 1992, Isaiah Thomas. He had many rings as Isaiah Thomas. But yet, people are, moving the goalposts, changing the standard to the point where, what is the standard? What is the standard? What is really the standard? You know what I mean? And what's really the standard for a sidekick? Which leads me to the whole Shaq and D Wade thing. Like, people want to say Dwyane Wade was the best player in 2005, 2006. You got to take that in context. And Johnny knows this. Wasn't Shaquille O'Neal hurt during those 2005 playoffs? He was injured. He was playing hurt.
He was kind of injured, part of that because Shaq.
That's what I'm saying.
He was on the decline. I'm not gonna say Shaq was the prime Shaq, but he was on the decline. But he was still great.
Well, he wasn't the prime Shaq, but yeah, he was still like the driving force.
He was on the decline of his prime. That was like Brandon said. That was his last year. That was his last year. That was his last year of the prime Shaq.
Yeah, I give you that. But
yeah.
It didn't officially, press for time and shit, but it didn't officially become Dwyane Wade's team until the 2006 finals when D Wade was putting up those ridiculous numbers. Yeah, those ridiculous scoring games and all that good shit, right? So the offense started to predicate to Dwyane Wade in the 2006 finals. You can say it's like a 1A, 1B thing with Shaq, but I give you Dwyane Wade had an impact. Straight up. But for me, it's like people want to discredit Shaq when it comes to Kobe, when it comes to D Wade. Now, I understand, like you said, he was starting to be on the decline, especially in those 2006 finals. But that like he didn't have an impact on that Miami Heat team. It's like very disingenuous in my book. We all know what's the story with Kobe and Shaq, but they really do it with the Miami Heat. But I give you to the point where, Shaq was starting to be on the decline, especially that second season of Miami when you had the wear and tear and the injury starting to mount up. But for me, it's like this whole ring culture sidekick shit is yet another toxic narrative created by the media. And it started with the people who came up with the Michael Jordan And this is coming from me as the guy that still got Mike as the GOAT. Michael Jordan as the GOAT. But end of the day, it's like for me, all these narratives, all this fake, fabricated shit that will actually happen. People like to twist all these narratives and shit to fit their argument, man. And it's like, end of the day, it's a team game, man. Some players, just stand out more than others. The NCAA tournament, you got the most outstanding player, right? Finals MVP is the same thing, It's just finals MVP is a part of a resume to give a boost to a certain player. You know? But for me, it's like it's a whole.
I feel you. I hear you. Listen, man. We always talk about this. It's always the narratives. It comes from the media because I've always told y'all there are zesty Jeffries in the media. They've been. I just recently watched Jalen Rose, and I think John posted it. Say that Kevin Durant is too small to play Jordan 1-on-1.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous.
And everybody
Kevin Durant is damn near 7 foot. Kevin Durant is damn near 7 foot. For as great as Michael Jordan is, he's not stopping Kevin Durant from scoring. I don't care what nobody say.
No, but the point is that
shit?
The point is that the length that these people go to defend their
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
For Jordan, that's the problem.
And you got to do that.
And you can like Jordan.
And they don't got to do that.
No,
that's what I'm saying. You can like Jordan. You ain't got to fabricate. You ain't got to fabricate his career.
No,
right.
No, admit it.
Right.
Admit it. Fabricate his career. That's your job as a fan. Your job as a fan is to fabricate a player's career.
And that's what I do. That's what I do. I like Michael Jordan. I like Michael Jordan, right? But I'm not going to sit here and deny that LeBron James belongs with the same goddamn team. I'm not going to do that.
It's Sam Jones.
I'm not going to do that. Sam Jones. He was an important part to the Boston Celtics dynasty. Let's just say that. That's like I said, that's sidekick shit.
And he was the first option. So are we going to say he's responsible for 10 championships because he was the first option?
No, you can't say that because he didn't have the same impact as Bill Russell did.
Because everything's
I think we do that though. I think we do that.
Oh, do what?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
That's why Bill Russell, for a lot of people, is not a number one. When you look at his resume and say 11 championships, we all know that offensively.
Bill Russell.
Hold on. Offensively, we say that he wasn't at the level of a lot of these players that we have, or some of the players that we have above them. So therefore, a lot of people have him not in the GOAT debate. Or not in a, he's a lot of people have him top 5. A lot of people, but as far as a GOAT debate per se, a lot of people don't have that. And when we talk about Wilt Chamberlain, some people have Wilt Chamberlain above him because of his offensive
Tyson, don't go to Wilt Chamberlain. Don't go to Wilt Chamberlain. We're gonna go to Sam Jones, leading scorer, first option, 10 championships. Why nobody praises him?
Right. Well, that's a good point, and maybe they should praise him more. But all I'm saying is because Bill Russell wasn't that offensive juggernaut that Wilt Chamberlain or Sam Jones, for that matter, was. He doesn't get put.
Don't tell me the symptom. What is the remedy? How do we make sure people don't tell me the symptom. We know people ain't praising Sam Jones. You're telling us they should.
Or Hondo, for that matter.
Don't make a plea to should. We have to call these people out. This is why I attach a name and a label to them. So that you could identify these people. Because when you just say people, you're making it too vague. The people you are talking about specifically are zesty Jeffries.
That's fine. I don't rate.
Hold on, Tyson. What they do is they create an argument for the sake of an argument. So for Bill Russell, the argument is he's not the first option.
Right.
Now we bring in Sam Jones, the argument will change. They will switch the argument just for the sake of an argument. And again, it's all to protect Michael Zesty Jeffrey Jordan and his legacy. We have been pampered. Even people who don't consider themselves Michael Jordan fans have accepted the bullying of Michael Jordan fans and Zesty Jeffrey telling us lies about Michael Jordan and his legacy. And anytime you address these lies and show that it is a lie, they call you a LeBron sexual or somebody who doesn't know basketball. You get bullied to the point to where Lowe and Gilbert Arenas could sit on a live for 3 hours, say nothing about a true conversation just for the sake of appeasing Kobe Bryant fans, who are just guys just only because those are the guys who didn't see Michael Jordan play, so they must attach Kobe to Michael Jordan. So we must make sure we keep Kobe's legacy intact as well. We cannot disturb that. If we do that, we're messing up Michael Jordan's legacy. That's why you got Michael Jordan fans and Zesty Jeffries making clips of this, like Zesty Fitness and Rants. Hungry Man Sports. All of them are talking. None of them are Kobe Bryant fans. None of them are Kobe Bryant fans. Bro, even doing stuff.
Scapperchak just made a T-Mac is trash video.
And that's what I'm saying. That's some bullshit.
He's a Kobe fan.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these fanboys get upset because of certain facts you point out for a certain player. You know what I mean? And LeBron fans do it too sometimes, but I'm just saying, like, it's concrete evidence right there. T-Mac and Kobe Bryant were neck and neck in the early 2000s. Am I right? Am I wrong? They were neck and neck.
You know who are real Kobe Bryant fans? Brandon's a real Kobe Bryant fan. Gilbert Arenas.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. Those guys are real Kobe Bryant fans because they are not insecure about other players that are just, they're not insecure about Shaq. They're not insecure about LeBron. They're not insecure about Kobe. About Michael. They know Kobe's greatness. Just like Brandon said, Kobe is the same with 2 championships or with 5, and I agree with him. Kobe with 2 championships is still the great player that we should argue in the top 10 with 2 championships. The 5 championships does not make Kobe any better.
And Michael Jordan is the same player with or without the 6 championships. They don't even record. They don't even realize that shit. You know.
All right. So we gotta get somebody else. Hold on. Go ahead. Land your plane, Blue Ball, so we can get some other folks in there because we do got.
I wanted to say. I agree with Tyson's point too. I want to ask 2 questions before anything to him. Like, I agree with a certain point.
We can't ask the questions. We can't ask the questions because we got too many people coming up. Yeah, we got too many people coming up. Because Ro's about to go on his soliloquy. Let's watch this. Let's go. Peace and blessings, Ro. What's good, Ro? What's good, brother? What you got?
To shut my shine down, bro.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I got to let. There's so many guys up here. We got to let everybody up, y'all. You know, we run a tight ship. You guys, as members, you guys get to speak, but we got to let people up. Rose, Rose been patient. We got another gentleman here, Kenneth Wright, that wants to speak as well. So
yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna be quick. I'm gonna be quick. I ain't got much to say. It really just did. Like I said, the issue goes both ways. It's a lot of people. It seems like everybody is in it to protect their own image and stuff like that. And I can understand that, right? You like a T-Mac, bro, his career went the way it went. It was a great career, just didn't have the playoff success. So of course he's gonna, like, who is not gonna speak on their accomplishments in a great light? You understand what I'm saying? I think the one sad part is Kobe is not here to speak on his own. You understand what I'm saying? Unfortunately, I mean, it seemed like his, Vanessa and them don't really, like, they know what Kobe did. So ain't nobody really, unless you really, really rock with him. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we know what it was. I think it's too much about the sidekick because at the end of the day, championships are not given, as we see, like one wrong move, one bad ball, whatever, one missed shot. That championship might not happen. You know what I mean? You got to go through 4 rounds. So at the end of the day, look, everybody's doing it. And at the end of the day, we also, this is the business of competition. So everybody gonna be competitive. Once you hung it up, of course you're gonna speak on your resume and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think it's all to do about nothing. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you do your best. Guys like Malone can salute. Guys like Malone, Barkley. Yeah, Barkley makes himself fodder, right? Oh, you the ringless one. You know how much better he was than Kenny Smith. But Kenny Smith throwed up 2 rings over him.
That's because Jordan's been doing that, Tim. They watch Jordan make fun of him for that.
But Jordan, yeah, but see, Jordan. But that's if you know Jordan. Jordan is a troll. Jordan is Jordan still. I mean, if he did hang out with Barkley, he would be beating his ass at pool and shit, golf. Matter of fact, when they was still rocking, that's after they stopped playing, he was beating him at golf. That Jordan. We see quarters off the wall. That's just the way it is. The fact that you're a competitor, that's what I say. Go out there, do your best. Everything will speak for itself at the end of the day. But everybody needs to stop with the sensitivity. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, they just need to stop. Like, why are we whining about this, bro? But again, it's what it is. So if and I'll say this, Jordan, I'm gonna say this, y'all gonna be mad at this. Y'all talk about Jordan do the same shit, but Jordan ain't got no Mind the Game podcast. He hung it up 23 years. He ain't getting to no damn podcast, and he don't do interviews. So
he had a whole documentary.
Okay, the documentary. The documentary that was so he took the film.
Man, nobody cares what Jordan. Y'all, nobody cares what people say. Y'all the only one running around here caring what player says. No one cares.
You just sat here and told us what Phil said. Now we're not supposed to care what
I said players. By the way, Phil was talking about the game of basketball. LeBron talking about ring culture got nothing to do with nothing. That y'all sitting here upset at these guys talking hypotheticals. We're not talking hypotheticals. We're talking what Phil said about his team.
You want to have a video showing that T-Mac would have won a title with Shaq. We ain't never see that.
Yeah, because we're talking hypotheticals.
That never happened.
Yeah, we're talking hypotheticals.
Shaq would have won more without Kobe. That never happened. But you got to show.
Yeah, that's a hypothetical. That's a hypothetical. You saying LeBron should have? Y'all saying LeBron should have won 8 because he said that.
Do y'all want to know?
I think LeBron should have won championships because he had Kyrie and AD. It's also a hypothetical.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next person.
I mean, he did go to 8 straight finals, so why he couldn't win 8 titles? I mean, I hear that all the time. 8 straight final appearances. Why he couldn't win 8?
Again, dependent.
I heard your feelings, Billy.
No, I'm cool. Just come on, kid him.
Go ahead, Ken.
Let's make sure everybody get their take off.
Hey, thanks for letting me up. This is great conversation. Let me start by saying I'm 50 years old. Okay, I can remember in the early 2000s when the Lakers was winning, Jordan fans hated Kobe. There was a back and forth to no end. Somehow, some way, this whole thing changed now where people that love Jordan, I think Jordan is the GOAT. Let me just qualify that. But the people that think that, have this issue with LeBron James, I guess it's like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of like thing. Because now it seems like Kobe and Jordan lovers now, going after LeBron James for whatever reason. But I'm glad you're making this video, this conversation about the sidekicks. I've always felt like I'm a big Pippen fan, and I've always felt like he's been disrespected as far as his role on those 6 championship teams, just because he didn't score like Jordan did. And I think somebody said earlier, Jordan would have never. I don't care who you put on the team. We saw when Jordan was on the Dream Team. I don't care who it is. He's not going to allow anybody to take as many shots as he's going to take. It ain't going to happen. And when I listen to these kind of conversations, it always centers around who scored more points. Okay. What made Pippen great is the fact that he was versatile and he was a great team player and he was a great defender. Fun fact. The fact of the matter is that, Pippen don't have any defensive player of the years, obviously. Okay. But what he does have is on those all defense first teams that he got voted number 1 4 times. 4 times. Why is that a big issue? Because defensive player of the year is voted on by the sports writers. And this is back in that time, in the 90s. Defensive player of the year was voted on by the sports writers. All defense teams was voted by the coaches. Okay. And you couldn't vote for your own player. So you couldn't vote with coach. So Phil Jackson, Dex Renner, all these guys could not vote for a player on their team. They had to vote for who they felt the best defenders were on the other team. To me, that holds way more weight than winning a defensive player of the year. Having 4 times being number 1 all defense team voted on by your competitors, that holds way more weight than winning defensive player of the year. Dwyane Wade, I feel like when he won that Finals MVP in 2006, he got paraded to the foul line to like crazy. Okay, and the fact of the matter is that had a lot to do with the NBA changing rules to make it easier for perimeter players to score because they were trying to manufacture more Michael Jordans. I could go on and on. One last thing, Kobe Bryant. The only reason Kobe Bryant got that 1 MVP, we can talk about Steve Nash and all these other times, but that 1 year that he got the MVP, I think that was 2008. The only reason why he got that MVP was because toward the end of the season, he went against Chris Paul, because Chris Paul and him was battling for MVP that year. And they had that one game in LA where Chris Paul wet the bed and Kobe Bryant outplayed him. And everybody knew whoever wins this game is going to get the MVP. Otherwise, you can make an argument that Kobe would have never had any MVPs. Okay. There's a whole lot of things that, I'm listening. I should have wrote it down. But, again, me being a big Pippen fan, the disrespect that Pippen gets, with regards to his role on that team. And also, I mean, James Worthy, Mikal, all these guys that you guys are talking about never get. Hello?
Yeah, no. That's keep going. Don't worry, keep going.
These guys never get deemed for. I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna land because I know I'm talking a lot, but James Worthy, Mikal, all these guys never get deemed for their role as being second and third fiddles on their team. I know Mikal never won a Finals MVP. I know James Worthy did, but the fact of the matter is, what did they do when Magic abruptly up and left the Lakers for 92? Look at and they replaced him with Sedale 3. Sedale 3 was a very good point guard. The Lakers was trash. When Larry Bird went down with that back injury, like 4 games into the season, and they had Reggie Lewis who replaced Larry Bird, the Celtics was trash. When Michael Jordan retired abruptly, and they replaced him with Pete freaking Myers, the Bulls, and keep in mind, Pippen missed 10 games that year. The Bulls might have won 60. Pippen and Horace Grant missed 10 games that year. So I'm just saying, man, y'all seem to be disrespecting Scottie Pippen. Y'all, man, nah. Pippen was that guy.
Facts. Thank you, my brother. Thank
you. Yeah, I don't think we're disrespecting Scottie, but
again, where do y'all want to rank Pippen?
we're not disrespecting
Top
Pippen.
20. Top 20.
Let me ask this. First and foremost, I just want to say I came from that niggas tickets live stream, and them boys can't have a simple debate without dissing each other. That's the only I'm gonna just be real. If you could debate without disrespecting, you a real basketball fan. That's first and foremost. Provide facts, not fiction. Provide facts and not your personal emotion. All right. Second off, I had assumed that this live was made due to the news that was being broken out. LeBron doesn't have a certain thing about his future, and, and I just want to say that first and foremost, if you don't think he's number one, then for sure you're mistaken.
The hell's going on?
That music a little distracting. But yeah, I just wanted to say,
what are we doing, bro?
The team
You done venting, Mike?
Yo, I'm on your team, fam. I'm not no Mike fan. I'll let you know that right now.
It sound like he was crying.
Yo, did you hear what I said? You didn't hear what I said, bro.
Yeah.
I let
Craig, you're on mute, bro. Craig, you're on mute.
I'm just saying, Pippen was labeled a top 50 player in NBA history and played less than 10 seasons in the league, less than all that. So who is disrespecting Pippen? Only him and Shaq was on the top 50 playing less than 10 seasons. Like, who?
Man, when you guys reference Pippen as a Robin, y'all bashing Pippen. Okay, that's you bashing him. Robin in the annals of hero history was this orphan kid who needed help and all that stuff like that. Man, don't come at me with that BS, man. Pippen wasn't that.
If Pippen is not disrespected, why does nobody run around here saying he's 6-0? Why does nobody run around here just like y'all keep saying what everybody says? I can't call Dwyane Wade the sidekick because everybody says he was.
Okay, so besides the 6 rings with Pippen, what else did he have? What other
10 all NBA selections, 10 all defensive selections, 7 all NBA selections.
What about the league MVPs? What about those? What else?
You have to have league MVP. That's what I'm saying. So now you have to have league. Does Dwyane Wade have a league MVP?
I'm saying what Pippen has. What
y'all knocking? You just said you don't disrespect Pippen, but you keep asking us to disrespect
Pippen.
Pippen.
Question. He got
so hold on.
None of that takes away from Pippen. None of that takes away from his 6 rings, Craig. None of that takes away his 6 rings, Craig.
It doesn't take
Johnny,
away. That's what I'm asking. Where do you want to rank him?
I told you top 20.
So why he's not top 10 with it? Why he's not your top 10 with his 6 rings? Why he's only top 20?
Because I don't just go off of rings, but I count his 6 rings. His resume says he's top 20.
Well, can I say that? Can I say this? And I said this earlier when you asked about his accomplishments. So if he had 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, 4 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards, then would you respect him more, Craig?
What do you mean respect him more? Nobody's disrespecting Pippen. Everybody says it. I say without Pippen, Jordan doesn't win 6 rings.
Okay. Well, I think he'd be high.
Where do you have Pippen ranked? So you could. So this is just not be a topic. So where do you have him ranked, Pippen?
I have Pippen ranked 17th.
Okay, so Craig respects Pippen. So this is not a Craig thing.
So why is Craig standing up for people then? That was why I always ask Craig the same question.
Where's the disrespect? He was top 50
outside of you, Craig. Outside of you, Craig. For you to assume that there's no
top 50
player. Here's what I'm saying, bro. Like I can't be honest. I can't be honest because people want to get in their feelings, and that's what I get in my feelings because Craig wants to be in his feelings.
I'm not in my. I'm asking the question.
Okay, if you're not the person who is not disrespecting Pippen, why do you feel like you have to defend when we say they are people?
Why are we talking to those people who disrespect Pippen?
Because they're the same people that says all the stuff that we hear all the time, Craig.
Why do you give those people
attention? I give you a name who disrespects Scottie Pippen. I give everybody Brandon Katz.
Michael fucking Jordan.
Brandon Katz disrespects Scottie Pippen all the time. He comes on every show and disrespects Scottie.
Come on, man.
All the time.
Brandon, you know this, Brandon. We don't come up here every Sunday to troll. This is not a troll show. Like we come here to have our opinions. We here to talk basketball. We can have disagreements, but at the end of the day, bro, y'all get mad because y'all get proven wrong. It's like Scottie is disrespected. If he was respected for his 6 championship rings, there would be no discussion on where Scottie is ranked. No one would be telling me I'm hating LeBron James because I got Scottie Pippen ahead of Dwyane Wade.
Somebody said 17th is crazy.
Exactly.
I think. I mean, if I could say something, Johnny, if I could say something, I read in the comments when I was talking about what he did in '94, right? Mm-hmm. And he had Kukoc, he had Kerr, and all these players, right? Now let's understand this now, right? Kukoc was a rookie.
Yes.
Didn't even speak the language, right? When he came over here. Kerr just came in. Shaq said that Kerr was about to be a bust or whatever you want to call it, right? But all of a sudden, in '94, Kerr and Kukoc was the reason why that '94 Bulls was great. Now, please tell me. Hold on. Please tell me what the hell happened in '96, '97, and '98 when Kukoc and Kerr was also on this team, but for some reason now the Bulls ain't a super team. Please tell me how come Kerr and Kukoc don't get the same freaking respect in '96, '97, and '98 that they got in '94.
Kukoc is a Hall of Famer.
Plus, he spoke English.
Read the comments, bro. Read the comments. Read the comments. Read what was being said.
Watch this, y'all.
Pippen had Kukoc. Pippen had Kerr.
Watch this. Let's go. Watch this. There we go. Here we go. Go ahead, Brandon Cass. Tell us everything you got to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is absurd. So Scottie Pippen's a good player. It's absurd to put Scottie Pippen in a top 25 list. Because again, 90s basketball was a half-court game. 90s basketball was very different than the 1980s. The 80s was one of the fastest tempo times in the NBA. The 90s was a half-court game. And while Scottie Pippen was an elite transition player and a very good one-on-one defender, Pippen was not a consistent shooter. And the other thing is, Johnny, your takes are horrible. Like and this is the main point people are missing. When you talk about the triangle offense and how the triangle offense was built around Pippen, the Bulls ran 2 different offenses. The Bulls ran their normal triangle offense, and they ran the fourth quarter offense. In the fourth quarter, when it mattered, the Bulls were an iso offense. Pippen was a good player. He's not top 25. All time, he's good, but he broke through data. In the fourth quarter, Pippen disappeared offensively because the tempo slowed. It became a half-court game, and Pippen couldn't shoot. So in the fourth quarter, it was Jordan time. The Bulls were an ISO offense in the fourth quarter. They were built around Jordan. And Scottie Pippen was not the same player after 1995. Scottie Pippen shot 41% from the field in the playoffs during the Bulls' final 3 titles. The other point is that Scottie Pippen never guarded the best player on the teams the Bulls played in the playoffs. Scottie Pippen didn't guard Patrick Ewing. He didn't guard Karl Malone. That was Rodman. And when Scottie Pippen guarded Barkley, he got cooked. The best teams the Bulls played in the 90s, in the years they won titles, they were not teams with elite small forwards. They were teams with elite centers. Because the 90s was the era of the big men. So Scottie Pippen wasn't guarding Shaq, he wasn't guarding Ewing, he wasn't guarding Malone, he only guarded Magic one game in the 91 finals, and he didn't guard Barkley either. The best teams the Bulls played in the 90s had big men and power forwards. They were not elite on the wing. But again, and you have no answer for this, the point is, in the fourth quarter when it mattered, Scottie Pippen disappeared. He wasn't a good enough shooter to close games. And even in 94, even Scottie Pippen's best season was without Michael Jordan in 94. Pippen shot exactly the same amount of shots. They averaged the same amount of points per game. Scottie Pippen could not scale up and stay efficient before because he wasn't a good enough shooter to score consistently in the half court or at the end of games. Scottie Pippen couldn't close the way Kobe did even in 2001. Shaq got swept more than any player in NBA history because as great as Shaq was a closer. Brady was very good. He wasn't a closer. Penny Hardaway, Eddie Jones, they were closers. Shaq needed a closer like Kobe because he couldn't shoot free throws at the end of games. And Scottie Pippen would never be a number one option because he couldn't close. When Dwyane Wade started knee problems, LeBron James ran away. When Scottie Pippen started having bad Michael Jordan carried the Bulls and won a title. That's the difference between Jordan and LeBron, and one of the main reasons why Jordan is
Here's a guy who coached you when you were first into the league, and we've seen a great deal of change in your game, improvement in your game, and maturity. Doug, what about the fact of the distance this young man's traveled?
Well, you know, I always felt Scottie Pippen was a big game player. I remember Game 5, I did not tell him he was going to start the game, the deciding game against Cleveland. In here, my second year coaching, Scottie was a rookie, he had 26 points in the final game. So the one difference I see, Scottie, is, you know, you're taking the ball to the basket with such authority, but you're confident shooting that outside jump shot. You see teams going to make a change and try to trap you to prevent you from getting that easy shot?
Well, yeah, definitely. You know, I felt like that was the weak point of my game going into this season was my jump shot. And I feel like once I get that open up for me, it will make a big difference for me.
You know, the one thing that you do so well, Scottie, there's so many things out there, but when you rebound the basketball and you can turn and push it out, you give your team such an advantage. Paxson can now run out and be a shooter. Michael can get out and it creates all kinds of problems.
Well, yeah, I think that made us a major threat in this series because Barkley not able to hold me and guard me the full court. So it made a big difference with the court wide open, and I was able to create.
So did I give y'all guys a name? Did I give you guys a name? I was just checking.
Let's let Boycott in there. And again, Brandon, we gave you an opportunity.
Cut that bitch off. Next call.
That was sweet.
Y'all said y'all wanted a name. I gave you a name, and he gave you the example.
Go ahead, Boycott. You've been very patient, brother. It's your turn to speak.
Yeah, I was actually looking up some stuff while he was talking. But anyway, let me get to my point. So I give certain sidekicks their credit. If I see how they play without their Batman, I guess you want to call them, and if they are successful without their Batman, then I'll give them the credit. So I give Kawhi credit. I give Pippen his credit for that year without Jordan. Kyrie, I'm a little shaky on, though. You know, players like Kyrie, people like Dwyane Wade, I'm a little shaky on. So if I see you're successful without your so-called Batman, you win some good games during the season, you go into the playoffs, you do well in the playoffs, then I can give you some credit. And I think Pippen had a pretty successful career without Jordan. I guess you could say it's a little shaky here and there. I did look up the clutch rating for Pippen. So it says in a specific postseason, Pippen's clutch rating was strong, 76.7, placing him at the top among players with significant crunch time minutes, according to Bleacher Report. So that was just a quick Google search. It seems like Pippen did have. I mean, I remember Pippen hitting some clutch shots, clutch steals too, during some really clutch moments in the Bulls run. So yeah, it depends on how you are without that player and how the player is without you. Like, I really looked at the Warriors. The Warriors, when certain injuries happen, their teams really change. You know what I mean? So I think that's a good way to judge players, because a game plan is not always determining how good a player is during the fourth quarter. What if that's just Phil Jackson's plan, that during the fourth quarter we're going to really go to Jordan? That might just be the plan. Now, when you see the player in the fourth quarter when Jordan is not there, now you have a different look at him, because maybe the coach is going to him now in that fourth quarter. So that's the way I look at it.
There's no fourth quarter stats for us to know. It didn't exist till 1997, so we don't know. It's all predicated off the last 2 years they played together. Scottie Pippen, all I know is every time we keep showing you highlights of Scottie Pippen, he balls out. They keep saying Scottie Pippen did nothing offensively, but the triangle seemed to not have worked without Scottie Pippen. I mean, do I have to continue to play clips? Do I continue to have to show you guys this about Scottie Pippen so you can stop disrespecting Scottie Pippen? Can we stop this?
Somebody said branding.
So clips work now to show. We can show clips now, right?
Of basketball, always. Don't show me any basketball clips. Show me basketball clips, of course, any day. We only show basketball clips here, Craig.
I was told Only Man's great because of his clips. Y'all only show the same 20 clips for the last 20 years.
When we showed you Jordan clips, y'all said we were cherry picking.
You could make a clip make anyone look good and anyone look bad, no matter how great they really are. Pippen is great. I don't know why people listen to people who don't know basketball. Pippen is.
I think
top
17
20.
is a little generous there, though, Craig.
See?
Why?
See? Because he was
because
a sidekick.
You have if you're going off, what are you going off of? If you're going off of stats, accolades, and achievements, he's not top 17.
Yes, he is. If you're going off of stats, accolades, and achievements, he definitely is.
The only thing he's missing
we can
is
disprove
what,
that real
a
quick.
league MVP
And a DPOY.
and a DPOY.
DPOY.
But how many people in your top 10 has a DPOY?
All of them.
One.
No.
And it's a
Your GOAT don't even have a DPOY.
It's a fake one. Yes, and it's a fake one.
He has the King top 5. So.
The game, Jordan, obviously Duncan got robbed, but I mean DPOY isn't the end all be all.
Duncan got robbed, Pippen got robbed.
Yeah, because I don't boost people up for Defensive Player of the Year awards.
Said everybody named 2 people.
So here, check this out. So here we go, Craig. So top 10, right? We know Pippen.
Ben Wallace and Rudy Gobert is not boosted up in anybody's list for having the most.
So here we go, Craig. Kevin Durant's higher than Pippen, right? Charles Barkley?
No.
No? Okay, Moses Malone?
No.
No. Okay, 3 MVPs and just better statistically? No? Okay.
6 championships.
Okay, what about Bob Cousy?
Better. 6 championships.
Okay, so you're putting Pippen ahead of all these players I just mentioned. Ahead of Kevin Durant?
What stats does Scottie Pippen need to have to be in your top 20, Travis?
Top 20?
What stats does he need to be in your top 20, Travis?
He needs MVPs, dude. He needs...
How many people in your
top
20 has MVPs? Everybody in your top 20 is an MVP.
Yes.
Well, everybody in his top 10 has a defensive player of the year, so they must have MVPs in his top 22.
But I mean,
Hondo's in your top 20 or no? Yes or no?
Yeah, Hondo's there. I mean, obviously, I'm going to put So we have all these players. We have fringe top 10 players we've discussed, right?
So Steve Nash is more top 20 worthy in your category and criteria than Scottie Pippen.
No.
He got 2 MVPs.
He had 2 MVPs, but he really doesn't have anything else. Pippen has a balanced resume, but like I said,
He has over 10,000 assists. What are you talking about? He has like 7 All NBAs. He has like y'all really be dismissing players' careers for the sake of, like I said, for the sake of Jordan.
We should
can I say something? So can I say something again at T Perfect? When you talk about the Defensive Player of the Year, that is voted on by the sports writers. The All NBA is voted on by the coaches. Who holds more weight?
All NBA's media as well.
No. And when Pippen, go back and look.
All defense. All defense.
All defense. I'm sorry.
All defense. All defense is coaching.
When the all defense. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. The all defense at the time was voted on by the coaches. Okay, the Defensive Player of the Year was voted on by the sports writers.
What's your point?
Are you prepared? Because you said, who? Maybe it wasn't you. Somebody said, well, Pippen don't have any Defensive Player of the Year awards, right?
That was it.
Okay, but he has 4. He finished 4 times. 4 number 1 finishes in all NBA voting, which was anointed to him by the coaches in the NBA. Not the sports writers.
We got that. Listen, they know this. They know all of this, Kenneth. These people are not new to GOAT James Kingdom. Travis is not new to GOAT James Kingdom. Craig and John know this stuff. I want to ask you something, Craig. All of these people saying that you have Scottie Pippen too high. Can I call them Zesty Jeffries for you? Can I identify them and say that they stupid for saying that you are having Scottie Pippen in the top 17 for you? Can I do that for you? Can you give me the permission to go in on all these idiots here who you say are idiots? Because remember, you said that. Why do we keep listening to these idiots? I'm going to listen to them. You don't have to listen to them. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to listen to them. I'll listen to them. They're going to continue to tell you, you're crazy, Craig.
Can I give you one name first?
Brandon Katz.
Oh, no. Okay, no. Second in King Speech Row.
Oh, yeah, King Speech Row. Yeah, again, look, better than 16, 6, and 5.
Still in the chat.
Yeah.
There you go. 16 points per game.
Look, here we go. Brandon Katz and Robert Horry, top 25. I don't go off of just rings. Because then I just bring this up, and what did you do? You cowered and hide away from this comment. Again, what stats does Scottie Pippen need when this is his stats?
Y'all forget, when you was growing up, I had the Jordan jersey. My little brother had the Pippen jersey. It was all like that. You buy a Jordan jersey, you buy the Pippen jersey. It was one or the other. You couldn't just get one. You had to get both.
LeBron James wasn't in the league
yet. Did you have the 33s?
Huh?
Did you have the 33s?
Nah.
Yeah, I had the 33s.
Let's bring Mike back up. Mike,
real quick. I don't think the problem is, huh?
Go ahead, Tyson.
I don't think the problem is Craig having Pippen at 17. Again, you can have anybody, not anybody anywhere, but it's based off of, without knowing who's 1 through 20 or 1 through 25 and who he has behind Pippen or ahead of Pippen, we just throwing out a arbitrary number. Like, does he have Charles Barkley ahead of him or behind him? Does he have Karl Malone ahead of him or behind him? Like, what is his criterion? What is he basing it off of? That kind of really matters. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like, it's all about like if you're just arbitrarily throwing up names to round up your top 20.
There's not a criteria that you have that doesn't put Scottie Pippen in the top 20. I guarantee it.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like
if you value anything in basketball, Scottie Pippen's top 20.
I'm not disagreeing with that because I got him around 20. I don't know. Like, again, I would have to go through my list and, write it down and all that. I don't count a lot of 60s players, me personally, because I haven't watched enough 60s basketball to sit there and
with that being said, Scottie Pippen is definitely top 20 if you're not counting 60s
players. Right. If I'm not counting Kuzi and, all these guys from that era, then yeah.
All I'm saying is if my GOAT say he couldn't win out with a player, he got to be top 20 all time. If my GOAT say I couldn't win one championship without a player, he got to
That's the criteria?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, so it depends on your criteria and who, but I agree, Johnny. Scottie Pippen is a great player. I don't know who you talking to when you say that, like maybe cats like Brandon Katz and a lot of Jordanites that want to put downgrade Pippen. I agree with that completely, but a real basketball fan, I think has Pippen in that range. It don't have to be exactly 20, but I think from 15 to 25, that's legitimtent to me.
25 is
top 25. But
I want to ask Tyson and Kenneth the question.
But let's go ahead and get Mike back up in there.
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. I apologize, Mike. I'm not swinging no blows. Go ahead, brother.
No. Like when discussion, first and foremost, LeBron's the GOAT. Just want to get that. Just get that out there.
LeBron James.
You ain't got a lot to be on the show.
When discussing the second option, how do you guys? What is your criteria in terms of putting him over a first option? When you guys say he's a top 20 player, are you guys forgetting the number one options that were able to lead a team? Maybe not to a championship, but they were still able to lead a team as the first option. Like Paul Pierce, for example, he was able to lead the team as the number one option. So how do you guys decide whether we put Scottie Pippen above Paul Pierce? We put Scottie Pippen.
I'll answer that quickly, and Brandon can finish up. I don't go by Zesty Jeffrey logic. That's Zesty Jeffrey logic. Go ahead, Brandon.
I mean, Scottie was more consistent than Paul Pierce anyway, and winning titles, being a top player in the NBA, first team all defense, first team all NBA. Like, he was very consistent.
Can I ask a question?
One of 3 players to have 200 steals and 100 blocks.
Of course, Tyson.
Just a question for Johnny. And it's just a question. I'm not saying you're wrong or right, whatever. This is just a question. If you talk about Kobe Bryant and how defenses were predicated on this and that, and which allowed him to be who he was in those first 3 seasons, why does not all of a sudden first or second option matter?
Because the first and second option is not a knock or a praise. You're a part of a team. There's a structure. There's a strategy that needs to be run. Players have to do something on the basketball court.
100%.
Not everybody gets to score. So you have to apply. You doing your job to the max is just as good as the scoring guy did his job to the max.
But I think you bring up that if an offense or a defense is trying to stop Shaquille O'Neal, that makes Dwyane Wade's job easier. If a defense is trying to stop Shea or Nikola Jokic, that might make Jamal Murray's job easier, or Jalen Williams' job easier. So why is that not the case when you're bringing up somebody who's first option, whose defenses are trying to stop them on a regular basis, and those other guys get better looks because of that?
No, you still have a difficulty role to do your job as that guy who supposedly now has it easier. So that means now there's more pressure on you because it's easier for you. You actually have to do your job for real. What? So you still have to do your job.
100%. I'm saying your job is easier than another.
I don't care what the expectations or responsibilities are. Did you do your job? That's your job.
Okay, but you agree the job is what matters. Do you agree it's harder to go up against defenses that are trying to stop you than being in a secondary role where it might be you get better looks in those situations when Devin Booker's numbers go up because he has KD's on the team with them and he goes off in the playoffs because KD is the primary. Does that you don't look at that in your context?
No, because your job is to not take a difficult shot. Your job is to find a better shot. So if you, as the player that's being focused on, you need to move the ball. Stop taking bad shots. That's bad basketball.
I didn't say take bad shots. But that's what
I'm saying. So if a player ends up, but that's what I'm trying to explain to you. The bad shot is not giving off the easier shot to Dwyane Wade because I'm double team. Correct? So I'm not going to knock the player who's also getting the double team by playing smart and passing the ball and making the right move, the right options.
I agree with you, but
that's the aspect of it. Did you do your job?
All I'm saying is when we look at somebody's career per se, and we say
Zesty Jeffrey logic,
Zesty
Jeffrey logic. Your career is predicated on your production.
But you're contributing to Zesty Jeffrey logic by saying Kobe benefited from having Shaq on his team. Then
no, I'm telling you that Shaquille O'Neal was so dominant that that Kobe was the second option. The team was built around Shaq. That's it. That has nothing to do about I don't care about second option, first option, third option. I don't care about none of that. At the end of the day, Kobe scored 33,000 points. Kobe has 15 All NBAs. Kobe has 12 All Defensive Selections. Kobe has a league MVP. That's how I
judge his career. I don't know if you're trolling in because you've said that you said that Kobe was a beneficiary of playing with Shaq, and the other players can do what he done and all this other stuff.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's because he was beneficiary of Shaq that I got to discredit his 33,000 points or his 12 All NBAs or his 15 All Defensive Selections.
Okay, but then you just said that doesn't matter.
That's why it doesn't matter. He still did what he did. He's still great. It doesn't matter. You take it as an offense. By me telling you Kobe had it easier, you're like, oh no, that's me being. That's not being offensive. That's just me.
Oh,
being
so
objective.
it is easier.
That's objective. Yes, of course it's easier to play along Shaq.
Okay, well that was my point.
Would do that.
Okay,
but exactly. But there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying it to be negative.
Oh, okay. I was just trying to understand the fact that it does matter who you play with. It does matter you being the first or second option. It makes it easier.
Yeah, to be a champion. Yeah, of course.
No, to score.
No, Barkley's still great. Barkley's still great.
I don't know.
I don't get what you mean about the scoring aspect.
I'm saying that if you're a second option, you're saying it's easier to score and do your job as a second option than the first option.
There's some second options that their job is not to score. Their job is to do other things.
But I'm talking about the ones their job is to score.
Huh? But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I don't praise Klay Thompson for being a second option. Like I don't praise it. I praise Klay Thompson for what he does. Like I don't like this idea of second option, first option as a zesty Jeffrey logic. I don't use it.
Okay. I disagree for somewhat. For a player to be a first option, to be the focal point of a defense, to me, that's a tougher thing. So Klay Thompson can't necessarily do. He's a beneficiary of being in a certain offense to get wide open shots and those type of things.
So why don't you guys respect
and he's great at it. He's great at it. I'm not saying that makes him a bad player or blah blah blah. I'm saying he doesn't have the skill level necessarily to do what some number one options do. Period.
Oh, that's false.
All right, guys. Let's Mike get his take back off because we keep cutting him off. We just keep cutting him off.
No, he got his take in. That's why Tyson asked the question. He got his take in.
He's done.
Oh, he got his take in. They keep asking me questions. They want to argue with me, Brandon. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. My takes bother people. I don't understand how I bother people. I know, but you're saying it as if I'm not concise and clear and articulate. I said what I said specifically clear. You want to attach a first option to meaning they're the better player. Just because you're the first option doesn't mean you're the better player.
He meant
that's what I'm saying. See, that's zesty Jeffrey logic.
It's just logic. Period.
No, it's not. That's another thing that's zesty Jeffrey logic. Whatever doesn't fall in zesty Jeffrey logic must be obscene type stuff. Some stuff that's out of this world. That Johnny's bringing up the troll. No.
Are we having a conversation or are we moving on?
Brandon wants to move on. I don't want to argue with you guys. I'm not here to argue. I'm not.
We're talking basketball, brother.
I know, but Brandon doesn't want to keep seeing me talk, so I got to stop.
Okay. All right. Well, we let it go then.
I want to know. That's a good topic. That's a good topic. Name one player who's not a
I can sense it in Travis's voice. He's upset right now with me. He's upset.
I am upset.
Be a Kobe fan then just say it. Just say it. I'm a Kobe fan and I hate that you guys talk about Kobe like this.
I was not really a Kobe fan.
Not about Kobe.
Cry baby.
It's about the top. It's about the topic that you say second options are not second options. There's no such thing.
I didn't say that. I said I don't value the second option. I never. I don't value that. I don't care for it. It means nothing. It means
it does mean something.
Do your job. Do your job. On Saturday, you're the host, right? Do your job. Don't wait on me and Brandon to do anything. On a Sunday, you get to chill and relax. It's easier for you. That's the difference. But both places, you are still doing your job. Whether you're the first option and the host on a Saturday night, or you're here as a special guest on a Sunday afternoon. Guess what, Travis? You're still doing your job. Does it matter? It doesn't fucking matter. Do your fucking job.
Do your job,
emotional, baby.
Do your
exactly.
job.
Now, see, this is what I'm saying. When y'all get emotional, I have to sit here and just listen to your sombering voice and cry. But then when I get to be in the exposure, now it's you was crying.
Asking expository questions.
Travis, you was crying.
I'm asking questions to you, brother.
No, not you, not you, Tyson. We had a simple conversation, brother. I explained it to you. You understand it. I'm talking to Travis for crying. Travis was clearly crying just now. He was crying.
Crying.
Yeah, crying.
Your logic is backwards.
It's mine. Your logic is backwards. My logic is consistent. That's why
really.
Brandon and I are always on here. We're consistent. I have not changed nothing about my logic.
We're talking about second options, which we can clearly name and define, and you don't have them ranked as high as you're pretending.
I don't care if you are a second option or not. What did you do?
Okay.
First of all, you ran a second option if you scored 30 points. Now I just say you're not a second option. You have a problem with it. So who really has the backward logic?
So the second options are always those who are going to take fewer or not as many shots. The people who lead for the front are always your best scorer, period. Okay.
That's true.
That's down throughout history. Okay.
The best scorer is not always your best player. Continue.
Yeah. Besides Bill Russell, like
Tim Duncan. Continue.
Tim Duncan was the best scorer for the majority of his career.
Not when he was winning championships. There was times he wasn't. There was times Tony Parker was leading them in scoring. There was times Tony Parker was leading that team in scoring because that's what they did
during the finals, not during the regular season or the majority of the playoffs, and that was rare. Tim Duncan was the best scorer on that team. Don't get it twisted.
He was the best scorer. Okay, let's go look up Tim Duncan's career. Go ahead, continue. Go ahead.
Okay. Don't get it.
Go ahead. Let's go look it up. Then let's go see this. Let's go see this Tim Duncan career.
Okay.
It's not necessarily about being the best scorer though. Like you said, offense is about.
Don't back out. That's you. Travis said it's about scoring. Continue, Travis. Let's say this is more important. It's about being the number one option.
Same thing with Kareem. Kareem was the best. Was the best player all around and best scorer when he was. Last time we won a Finals MVP, then Magic assumed that mantle. For a lot of time, and who else we got? Hakeem was there. Jordan, LeBron, always. They never won titles without being the best scorer, best all-around player on their team.
I mean,
Kobe for the most part.
I guess
Shaq,
you look at players like Chauncey Billups.
I'm talking consistent. I'm talking guys that we have. See, it's all fine. See, my issue, and you can agree with this, Bealey, is I don't have any problem with Johnny saying that there are times where obviously fantastic players have been on teams where there's obviously they're not the main offensive threat, but when you're saying that they're disrespected or whatever, it's like we all have a consistent ranking, and none of these players that you can name that were quote unquote second options come anywhere near the top of our lists. So what are we talking about?
I don't know what you're talking about. Kareem was a second option. Magic was a second option. He's top 10 on your list. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but they were all alphas who carried every person.
But not enough.
If they were second options,
and so was Scottie. Scottie was an alpha too. Scottie was an alpha too at one point. So
yeah,
what are we taking away from you?
Okay, but Scottie wasn't an alpha during his prime, and we
yes,
don't
he
have
was 94, 95. He was a prime. He was all NBA first team and all defensive first team both years. 94, 95. So that was him being an alpha. Just because he didn't win a championship, it doesn't matter. But Barkley didn't win a championship. He's got to be better.
That's the point, though, Johnny. You use those years to elevate Pippen, right? You're doing that right now.
No, I use Scottie Pippen's career.
Right. And but
that's not because he was a first or second. I'm telling you, listen, you guys get mad at me when I throw your own logic at you. No, I said it because that's what he said.
That's what I said. So I don't know if you're trolling or that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I am trolling because I want to make sure you're consistent.
Okay, well, that's what I was asking, bro. And you said I never trolled.
Was Scottie Pippen ever a first option?
Yes.
Okay, so Scottie Pippen can be a first option. So now, can we stop that? He has 6 rings and he was a first option. Let's continue.
No. And I get that point. And those years do help Scottie Pippen's case. Is my point.
What helps Scottie Pippen's case, y'all, is that Scottie Pippen has 10 all defensive selections.
Sure.
Scottie Pippen has over 3,500 playoff points. Scottie Pippen is second in steals in playoffs. Scottie Pippen's resume makes him top 20.
Sure.
Including his 6 championship rings. That's what makes him top 20. Him being a second option has nothing to do with it. Or a first option has nothing to do with it. That is an additional thing that you're adding that doesn't mean anything in basketball.
Okay. I think
they all have to do their job.
We disagree.
They all have to do their job.
100%. And if my job is deemed more impactful or more necessary.
It's not. You say it's deemed more impactful, but it's not. That's your opinion. It's not.
No,
it's not.
It's not opinion. Those are based in facts as well.
What's based on what facts? What facts are you basing it off of?
Well, when you talk about it's numbers to quantify impact, whether they're 100%, it's not 100% obviously, but when we talk about on off numbers, when we talk about plus minus numbers, I think
Tyson, what does these numbers say about Scottie Pippen? These are real numbers.
He's a great player. That's not the argument. Nobody's saying that he's not great. Nobody's saying that I said he deserves to be in that top 20 conversation. I said that.
But there's a lot of people out here who don't agree with you. The same people that deem first option is more important will tell you you're not being honest about Scottie Pippen.
But I do. But both things can be true though.
No, one has to be.
They can't. Because as a second option, Pippen put up all those stats you say, all those numbers you say, all those all defensive teams, all those all those stats and whatever accolades that he has accrued. He did that as for the most of his career as a second option.
The only thing a second option stat is points. Tyson, you can't. His rebounds, assists, none of that has to do with being a second option.
Let me finish. What you just said is easier, so it has to have some bearing.
Scoring. We just scoring. Scoring. It's not easier for Scottie Pippen to get assists as a second option. It's not easy to get.
But it is. It's not just scoring. Blocking shots depends on your teammates.
How does
rebounds depends on your teammates? Everything is a 5-man game. There's 5 people on the floor at once, bro.
But my scoring doesn't, right? My scoring has nothing to do with my teammates, correct?
I said it did.
Okay, so what does the second option?
Everything does.
With anything, then it means nothing. Then you guys keep proving my point.
No, if you have a great defense around you, it's easier as a defender to block shots. If you have less rebounders on your team, if LeBron James is playing next to JaVale McGee and whoever are great rebounders, his rebounds may drop in that year or they might not. I'm just saying it all matters, bro. That doesn't take away
what does the first option have to do with any of that?
Again, I just brought it up. I told you, because the defense is predicated around that score being so. Therefore, your job as a second option, now you're attacking closeouts. Now you're attacking different stuff on the court. You know what I'm saying? And your skills can be elevated because you're in different situations as a scorer. If I have to post up to get my points instead of attacking a closeout, that might be deemed harder. If I have to ISO to get my points instead of attacking a closeout because my best player is getting double teamed, that makes it easier for me to score. Just like you bring up for Kobe.
Tyson, do you understand you're having two separate conversations right now?
No, I'm not.
First option is only scoring.
What?
Where is first option for rebounding? Where is first option for assists? Where is first option for blocks and steals?
I'm not saying those are first option. Yes, offense is predicated around the first option.
Okay. Stop there. Don't. I don't need you to explain because I get it. So since those have nothing to do with first option, when I bring up Scottie Pippen's numbers, the only thing that affects Scottie Pippen for the second option character is his points, which is why he has those points, because he played second option. But if you look at everything else, he's not playing second option. He's dominating. He is great. He is affecting the game.
I agree with you.
Across the board. So being a first option or second option means nothing.
It does because okay. If you,
like I said, it could mean something to you. I'm
No.
just telling you that in the sense of basketball, it really means nothing.
No, because a lot of players aren't Scottie Pippen. A lot of players aren't great all-around players and can do all the things Scottie does that makes him great. Some players being in top because they contributed in scoring, like Kyrie Irving, for example. He's not a great defender. He's not a great necessarily playmaker. His is predicated on scoring. So when he plays with LeBron James and it's easier for him to score, then that elevates him. Sorry, my dog going crazy, but yeah.
I don't think it elevates him, but it's okay. That's how you feel. It don't elevate him to me. I really don't care about first option, second option. It doesn't.
Okay, fair enough.
It doesn't give me nothing. It doesn't give me nothing. I know plenty of first options that can't do shit if they don't have a teammate. If they don't have people around them to do stuff for them. So that's just how it works.
Well, I completely agree with you, Johnny, that at the end of the day, it's all about the resume that matters. Total.
See, but Kyrie's an alpha because it's all about scoring. It's all about scoring. It has nothing. Y'all don't respect nothing else in basketball but scoring. Nothing at all. but scoring. That's y'all. Scoring means more than everything else.
Who is y'all?
Respect the scoreboard at the end of the game.
Tyson doesn't care nothing about nothing but scoring.
I just said Scottie Pippen is great. He's not necessarily an elite scorer.
But Tyson, you also discredited Klay Thompson when you said Steph was scoring more. Klay Thompson played way more defense than Steph did.
And if Klay Thompson was the first option, he could score just as much as Stephen Curry. And Stephen Curry's not winning without Klay Thompson. That's the point.
Nobody's not winning without anybody. It's a team game.
We can't knock these players because they're playing their
Nobody's
role.
not winning without anybody. You the one that said that.
That's like knocking the linemen. Like we all know we need linemen in football. You know you need a defensive line.
But you're arguing points I'm not making, brother.
But that's the point I'm telling you. Your point is that the first option should mean more than the second option. You're arguing that. I
didn't say that. I said it's harder. And you agreed. And you said it about Kobe.
Why would you address it being harder? Being harder means what?
Being harder, all it means is offense is about creating advantages, whether it's to score, whether it's to get an assist and create an advantage. If LeBron James and Steph Curry create advantages for their teammates and allow Draymond to be that great facilitator because everybody's double teaming them off back cuts, that gives Steph Curry credit. I'm giving Steph Curry credit for that.
False. That's wrong because it's Draymond Green. You can't get nobody to do what Draymond Green does. That's false. So that's why I'm trying to explain that to you. Stephen Curry can run around screens all he wants to. If Draymond Green can't make that pass, if you don't got somebody who can make that pass, or who can see the play and do it and run the set and do everything they need to do, it doesn't matter.
It sounds like who came first, the chicken or the egg comment.
Okay, if you think, okay, all right.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
I don't think so.
Where they feed each other.
I don't think it's both important. That's the whole point. The chicken and the egg argument. If you want to have an argument, you can have that argument, but they're both important. You need the chicken to have the egg. You need the egg to have the chicken. So they're both important. That's the real conversation. That's me removing my bias. If I want to have an argument, I would say the chicken is first. Just to argue. That's what y'all do, though. That's what y'all do.
Okay. I disagree. Yeah, dynamic players are dynamic players for a reason, bro.
That's why I do Friday night, so I can have people disagree with me, not on a Sunday. So, but let's end today's show because I done deboed the show. My partner's tired of me, and he doesn't want to hear me keep exposing people's lies. But I have to address somebody before I go because this coward here is always talking shit about me, and I hate people that talk shit about me but never step up on the microphone. Never. Look at this. He has to disrespect. Now my culture and my people's got to be disrespected. Now I could be like Craig and say that shit doesn't matter. And it really doesn't. But the fact that we got grown men around here thinking that they can talk like this and there's no repercussions. You met your fucking match. I'm that guy. I can't help it. There's Rashard McCants on that side, and there's A. Johnny the Exposer.
What is...
I still love you.
What the hell? Why does Willie think he can cook you, Johnny? Because he comes up here regularly and you cook him.
Because they think me crashing out means I lost.
Because he said crime stopped when the Bulls played.
That's why they think people crashing out means they won the debate. They be disruptive like Herm. They be disrespectful like Willie, and we're just supposed to take it. They go searching people's names. They go looking up Brandon's job and shit like that. All because we like LeBron James and we think LeBron James is the GOAT. And we say truth about Michael Jordan, or we're not Michael Jordan fans. They hate Gilbert Arenas. They hate T-Mac, who are Kobe Bryant fans and Jordan fans, who both have Michael Jordan and Kobe 1 and 2, all because they praise LeBron James.
I love T-Mac.
So, like I said, with that being said, I'm not going to stop being who I am. That's why I do the Friday night exposure with the Exposer.
We still waiting on that clip from Travis.
What clip? I'm still waiting for that clip of Shaquille O'Neal saying that it's Dwayne Wade's team. Like how Dwayne Wade told everybody that about fucking
LeBron
James. That's what I'm still waiting on.
All I All I know is the Miami Heat always had 2 players from Chicago when they won a championship. So y'all should be praising Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Who's that? That's Antoine Walker and who else?
Dwyane Wade.
Dwyane Wade's not really from Chicago. You know he's from the suburbs.
Yes, he is. We ain't gonna disrespect.
You know he's not really from Chicago. Y'all just trying to claim
from the
people from
state of
Chicago.
Illinois.
He's from Chicago.
That's like Brandon's buddies in high school talking about they from Chicago, knowing they from Gary, Indiana.
Yes, he's from Chicago. I ain't gonna do that. Chicago, Miami needs to thank Chicago because we helped y'all all the way.
Oh man, this is the same dude that says Shaq can. Yeah, and I'm gonna prove it again. I will prove it, Tyson. I will prove to you how. Now, and I didn't say with anyone. Remember, you got to replace him with a competent 2 guard. And there's a plenty of 2 guards in that era, including Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter, that he would have won those championships. But like I said, I will prove it because I don't shy away from nothing. Unlike you, Tyson, I will admit I'm gonna go get stats to prove this.
Wait, Allen Iverson in there?
Huh? He definitely won a championship with Allen Iverson. Without a doubt, he's winning a championship with Allen Iverson. Without a doubt. 3.
Who is that? I want to show you this. I mean, not correct, Travis.
You can't prove it, bro. You can create hypotheticals. You can't prove it.
I know that. It is going to be a hypothetical. That's fine.
So it's not proven.
I'm not trying to prove. I'm a prove.
You just said I'm gonna prove it.
No, I'm gonna prove
awesome.
it. I'm gonna prove that he could have won a championship. Yes, because you said it yourself that it takes stats, and I'm gonna show you players who had the same stats.
I did not. I never said that.
Yes, you
never
did.
said that.
Yes, you did. It's about stats. You said it's about Kobe's 4th quarter scoring. It's about Kobe's 4th quarter presence, and there's plenty of players in that NBA who were 4th quarter presence.
Oh my gosh. Okay, brother.
Get mad all you want to,
but they didn't do it in that situation, so it's not no.
If they had Shaq, that's the point. That's what you feel to realize.
Hypothetical.
That's the reality, though. But that's exactly. It's just like
it's not a reality.
Hypothetical. That's the reality. Yes, that is. Taking Shaq's championships away from Kobe is not reality. Shaq's winning those 3 championships without Kobe. Stop doing that. Like that's the point. My proof is Shaq went on a decline and went to play with Dwyane Wade on an uprise and won a championship. So why wouldn't he win it with another solidified player in the NBA at that time?
Because Dwyane Wade went and did that. He averaged 34 points or whatever it was.
No, he did not go do that. Dwyane Wade was there in 2004, and his team got knocked out by the.
No, I said he did it with Shaq.
Yeah, again,
you can't deny that. That's a fact.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Shaq's going to be the.
That's reality. That's reality.
Facts. Exactly. Facts. Shaq's 3 championships are not being removed because of Kobe, and none of y'all can prove otherwise.
Well, besides removing them, who tried to remove them?
Huh?
Who tried to remove Shaq's championships?
When y'all said that he can't win 3 with Tracy McGrady.
Bro,
he didn't win with Penny.
This is crazy that we just doing hypotheticals and saying somebody could just win with anybody because of their stats. Nobody said no. Oh, okay, bro. You can.
I never want to hear you use expectations again, Tyson. Don't ever bring up expectations.
Expectations are proven. Are not proven.
No, they're not. You expected Boston to win a championship. They didn't. It's not proven. It's a hope.
Exactly.
It's not real. It's based off of stats and what you believe. It's a
but we have the reality to back it up. A hypothetical, there's no reality.
You don't have a reality for your expectations. Your expectations is about the future. What reality do you have that?
Because we're going to get to see it. It's going to be tested.
It's not. That's not.
So you can say hypothetical. You can say anything.
It's not real. It's not reality. Your hypothetical is still not reality. You're hoping it's going to be reality, but it's not. It's not reality.
No, my point is that when we say Boston is going to win a championship next year, or whatever team is going to win a championship, that is going to play out. Your hypothetical is never going to play out.
It is still a hypothetical. Whether you do it in the future or you talk about the past, it's still a hypothetical. It's not predicated on reality.
Johnny, in hindsight, we can go and say Boston Celtics couldn't win. Kevin Garnett didn't play how he was supposed to play. Paul Pierce didn't do this. Paul Pierce didn't do that. But you can sit up here and say anybody can win a champion with Shaq, and it never plays out. So you can get your shit off and just run with it.
I didn't say anyone. I'm gonna show you players who produced well enough for the Lakers to still win 3 championships. That's what I'm gonna do.
Give me a prime Carmelo Anthony with Shaq. That would have been awesome.
You give him Vince Carter. You give him Paul Pierce. You give him those guys. They're winning those championships. Remember,
Penny
also added
Phil.
Shit,
he had Penny already.
Give him Eddie Jones, an all-star shooter.
He didn't win with Eddie Jones. Eddie Jones didn't have Phil Jackson or the 2000 Shaq. 96 Penny and 95 Penny did not have 2000 Shaq and Phil Jackson.
So you mean Shaq and Phil then, not just Shaq. Anyone
Shaq? Because Phil's going to be a part of it. Phil's a part of the whole thing. I didn't remove Phil. Phil's a part of it. I never removed Phil.
So Shaq, Phil, Glenn Rice for the 2000.
Oh, everybody else is still there. But the only person I'm going to remove is Kobe. Because everybody keeps thinking Kobe's a part of the three. Without Kobe, there's no three. That's what y'all say.
Didn't LeBron play with Shaq?
Everything.
Huh? LeBron did play with Shaq, but was that the 2000 and the 2002 Shaq and the 2001 Shaq?
It don't matter.
But Phil didn't coach Shaq with the Miami.
He won 66
That was Pat Riley.
I know that. And why you think they got rid of Van Gundy? Because you needed a real coach.
Oh man, he's not a real coach now.
Van Gundy was not going to win us a championship. You needed Pat Riley. Again, because that roster was built for Shaq and built with a bunch of veterans. Stan Van Gundy did not have the cachet to make all those veterans go in line. That's why they had to hire Pat Riley.
Eric Spoelstra's Hall of Fame?
Eric Spoelstra wasn't the coach then. It was Stan Van Gundy.
I'm asking you, do you think he's going to be Hall of Fame?
Of course he's a Hall of Fame coach. Why wouldn't he be?
That's true.
Y'all keep asking me questions trying to find a hole in my logic. You see that, right, John?
What kind of question was that?
You see that, John? You see that, right, John? John, am I the only one who notices that, right?
Hey, you know, I got you.
Hey, I'm gonna play a clip for a second.
Yeah,
Off to South Beach, what's that experience like with a young D-Wade?
So when I got to D-Wade, I was like, I know you heard all the stories, sure team. What I should have did in LA. Now that I'm thinking about it, so we ain't gonna have any problem. You the man, you the CEO, I'll be the consultant.
Off to South Beach. Off to South Beach, what's that experience like with a young D-Wade?
That's fine. I knew you was going to bring something from 10, 20 years
later. So nice, a nigga had to play it twice. Go ahead, man. One more time.
No, he can play it twice. That's not. I heard Shaq said that at the press conference. I'm going back 20 years ago. You can go back to Shaq line 5 years ago.
So why did Gary Payton say take a step back?
Exactly. If that's the case, why did Gary Payton have to say take a step back, Shaq?
Why did Gary Payton have to say that?
That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't bring up Shaq saying all of this. I showed you the actual moment in time. I took y'all back in time into 2005 when Shaq joined the team. You brought me a clip with him sitting down, hopping, please. But it's fine.
Hold on. What did you ask us to get? What did you ask us to get?
Well, again, show me Shaq.
And Greg, what clip did he ask us to get?
Yes,
he won't answer.
Show me a clip of Shaq saying he gave the team to D-Wade.
He didn't. He didn't give the team to D-Wade.
When he said it, he didn't say how long.
When did I?
You didn't give us an
When did I?
expiration
Oh
date.
my God, bro!
When did he say it? We did say when did he say it?
When? I said when. Back then. Go back then. Y'all are bringing up revisionist history. Like Kobe, like Shaq saying all this now.
Like you said.
Wait. Shaq just said, wait a minute. Shaq just said that he should have did that in LA. Did Shaq say that when he was in LA when he was kicking Kobe?
He did. He said, no, hold on. He said when he got there, this is what he said to Dwyane Wade. This is his words.
I know that's his words. I know he said that. I know that. You're right. He did say that, but he didn't say it in 2006. He said that in 2020.
Let me play it again because I don't think
Off to South Beach, what's that experience like with a young D-Wade?
So when I got to D-Wade, I was like, I know you heard all the stories, sure team. What I should have did in LA. Now that I'm thinking about it, so we ain't gonna have any problem. You the man, you the CEO, I'll be the consultant.
He didn't have a parade.
This is what he said. This is from Shaq.
Yeah, I know. They had a parade for a sidekick. You're right. They had a parade for a sidekick. I know. They had a parade for a sidekick.
This is what Shaq said.
I didn't see them. I didn't see them celebrate Dwyane Wade.
No, I'm serious. This is what Shaq said.
The media over the player, then.
Yeah, this is amazing.
No, I'm not telling you I'm telling you as a Miami Heat fan. I remember living that time.
I need to
but
pull
you
up
show us a clip of what the media said. He showed you a clip of
I'm showing you a clip. That clip is from that time. That's from 2006.
It's the media.
That's the NBA. That's the NBA media because at that time Shaq was the man.
He told him when he got there,
and Shaq also said a lot of and Shaq also said LeBron James is the GOAT if he scores more than Kareem, and then he changed it and said LeBron Jordan's the GOAT. Shaq has been saying a lot of false shit lately. Go back and show me Shaq saying it in the press conference, like somebody told me on Friday night. That at the press conference when Shaq was holding up his jersey, that's what I'm saying. He went and found a previous.
This is what he said.
I'm not okay. Okay, I didn't argue. I didn't argue that said Shaq didn't say that when you pro. I said that he didn't say it then. That's it. He didn't say
but
it
that's
then.
what Shaq said. He said it then.
I know,
No,
and Shaq is lying. And Shaq is lying. And I would tell Shaq to his face he's a liar. And I can't wait till I have Shaq, because one day we will have Shaq on this show.
Please get Shaq here.
We will have Shaq on this show one day. We will have Shaq on this show one day. And I'm going to ask Shaq, who was the leader of the Miami Heat team. And we're going to see that.
Hey,
I mean, that's
I've been emailing
LeBron's
agents nonstop, try to get him on here.
Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. How about you email Dart and them and tell them that Johnny wants a 20v1. You do that.
20v1.
Yeah, next week, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be celebrating the 100th episode of the Friday Night Exposure. Okay, that is an achievement for us here in GOAT James Kingdom. And again, this was a side show that I wanted to start because obviously I don't want to take over Sunday shows. This is why I created Friday night shows, so I could just be actually a moderator. I really don't even want to talk to you guys on a Sunday afternoon. I really don't. But Brandon always baits me. Brandon knows how to bait me, so fuck you, Brandon. And at the end of the day, though, this special episode for all GOAT James Kingdom members, you guys will have an access to be a part of this show. All I need from you guys is you guys to explain to me why you like Friday Night Exposure and your favorite episode, and what is your favorite episode. And that will be for the basic.
You gonna wear that suit?
I don't have a suit that's that luxurious. I only have AI suits. Yeah, I only have AI suits that are that luxurious. I go to Burlington Coat Factory for all of my suits.
Got that chain? God damn.
Listen,
I like
listen.
that tie.
Yes. Actually, I
Fire.
do have a tie similar to that, but it's also a Burlington Coat Factory tie.
It's Egyptian
cotton.
cotton.
It is not one of those. But again, if you wanna be a part of this contest, all you have to do, like I said, is become a GOAT James Kingdom member. And let me go ahead and play the promo for you guys so you guys can know.
Peace and blessings. Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom. Next week on the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, we will be celebrating 100 episodes of the Friday Night Show here on GOAT James Kingdom. So we will honor and show our appreciation to our greatest supporters and our greatest fans, which are our GOAT James Kingdom members. And we want to do that by having a contest to where any GOAT James Kingdom member that shows up on next Friday's show and explains why they have their favorite episode of the Friday Night Exposure with the Exposer, or the greatest Friday night exposure of somebody getting exposed on a Friday Night Exposure, then you will be able to win one of these 3 special GJK posters. So all you have to do is become a member of GOAT James Kingdom, and then from there you're automatically eligible for next week's contest. And again, the contest is, all you have to do is tell us what is your favorite Friday Night Exposure show or Friday Night Exposure in general. To become a GOAT James Kingdom member, all you have to do is go to our GOAT James Kingdom homepage, hit that join tab, and then from there, you'll see all the different perks to becoming a member of the GOAT James Kingdom platform. There's different tiers, so make sure you check out the tier that's right for you. And if you are part of the King's Guard of GJK, you are automatically eligible for a GJK poster after 1 month of renewal. And again, thank you very much for all of your support. Peace and blessings from GOAT James Kingdom.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. You get to enjoy BB and A Johnny talk basketball every Sunday noon Eastern time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Support by subscribing, and also check out the membership at GOAT James Kingdom.
So indeed, become a GOAT James Kingdom member. By all you got to do is go to our GOAT James Kingdom homepage. You see all these different tiers. And as I stated before, if you are a King's Guard of GJK with a renewal of your membership, you have access to a free poster. Not to mention, you get access to a GJK hat and a custom-made t-shirt. So you guys see what we're doing here in GOAT James Kingdom. We're going to continue to do great content. We're going to bless you guys like Tyson, Warren Boy, for all you guys who support us, Craig, no, not Craig, T Perfect, John, all you other GOAT James Kingdom members.
Say no money, I support y'all.
You do, Craig. You do. Shout out to you for that. You get a GOAT James Kingdom salute.
I'm gonna win that contest.
LeBron James.
Again, it's going to be available. That's going to be next week's show, so the link will be available for all you guys. I tried to give you guys $100 at one point, but you guys don't like GOAT James Kingdom bucks. You must not like it. So, but again, we are the GOAT James Kingdom platform. Brandon and I are the best at this. We talk basketball every Sunday noon Eastern time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom platform. We do big time things right here on Sundays, like expose all zesty Jeffrey lies and logic. And then on Saturday nights, we get Travis, who doesn't really get into his feelings on a Saturday. He lets Brandon just cut him off on a Saturday and gets mad at Brandon on a Saturday evening. While John enjoys all of this on a Saturday evening. So catch the Radar Show every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. You guys know what to do.
Brandon's going down next week.
Don't forget that. Next week, actually, on the Radar Show, we will be discussing why Akeem Olajuwon is top 10 or not. Brandon will discuss why Akeem Olajuwon isn't a top 10 player. Travis will be discussing why Akeem Olajuwon is a top 10 player. So again, it is an open panel debate session on the Radar Show. Make sure you
can't be 17.
Well, hey, listen. This is
your next Craig Door.
Listen, if Kevin Durant and Kobe Bryant can be top 10 with 2 championships, I don't know how Akeem is. But again, Travis will make that case.
Tune in.
And Brandon, exactly. Tune in, and Brandon will definitely give you guys his side of the story. But also on Wednesdays, if you guys don't want to have the GOAT debate, guess what? We open up the GOAT James Kingdom channel to the Alan Powell Show on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, where he talks more than just basketball. He talks baseball, football. He is a true sports guy. I think he's even a commentator for a semi-pro basketball league as well. He even does play-by-play for college baseball as well. This guy's all over the place. He and Brandon grew up together. They went to high school together, so that's how we know Alan Powell's. They're a great group of guys. They have a great show. They do it every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on GOAT James Kingdom. But also, don't forget to join us on next Friday's episode. It is a special episode, and I'm opening it up to all GJK members. I'm looking forward to seeing all you guys because, again, ladies and gentlemen, here in GOAT James Kingdom, we celebrate true LeBron fans, true basketball fans, and I truly want to give an honor to all of you guys who support Brandon and I, not only on a Sunday afternoon, but also on a Friday night. But, Brandon, you said that Gary Payton was running around here following Dwyane Wade, not following Shaquille O'Neal. Well, let's hear what Gary Payton had to say about that. Let me put this volume all the way up for all you zesty Jeffries who love to disrespect Shaquille O'Neal. Let's play this from the beginning. Here we go.
Having problems with who was our go-to guy. And Shaq at that time was not our go-to guy. I think this young kid, Flash, was a guy. He was doing a lot of things. And I just called a team meet and I just said, look, you guys, we got to learn how to play our role. I'm not the guy that I used to be. And Shaq wasn't really going for that. And I told him, look, if we're going to win this championship, you got to be like me. Our time's over. Don't worry about it. Let's win a championship. And he agreed with me. And we started running things through G Wade, and look what happened. All of a sudden, we made a run and we beat Dallas. When Van Gundy got fired, we were having problems.
So there you go. Shaq did not relinquish it until they got 26.
They went through Dwyane Wade. He just confirmed that they went through Dwyane Wade, though.
And what did I tell you? That was for the playoffs during the finals. I got footage of him talking about that for the finals because Shaq was still the man throughout that. The team was built through that. That's why Gary Payton stepped up because he looked at Shaq and said, bro, you brought me here to win a championship. Let's not fuss and fight about who's going to score more or not or who the play's going to go through. Let's just go through D Wade and D Wade's going to take us home. And we're going to be champions at the end of the day. That's a true leader. And that's what Shaq is saying. I had to relinquish that because it was better for us to win that championship in 2006 in that finals. Because I got another clip where he says that Dwyane Wade goes on a 4 straight runs. That's when they gave Dwyane Wade the reins. Here, bro, this is your team now. We're not going to argue with you. We're veterans. We just want to win a championship. That's why as soon as they won that championship, all those guys got partied and got out of shape. Antoine Walker got suspended coming into 2007. James Posey got suspended in 2007. Those guys spent the whole summer partying and celebrating their careers because they finally won a championship. And then they handed it to Dwyane Wade and got us to Chicago.
To be honest, I think what happened is when Shaq thought he was in the finals, he was gonna be the old Shaq again, and he found out that he couldn't do it. So throughout the whole season, all the playoffs, he thought, okay, I'm here. In those first two games, they got their ass kicked, and Shaq was like, okay, it's KB 1A and 1B no more. So It's just basically talking about 2 games. And then after that, Shaq said, I'm going to have to set some screens.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to have to set some screens.
I
can't do this no more. I'm going to just set screens, Wade.
And get rebounds and move the ball.
Together. And so, yeah, we're talking about 2 games that Shaq thought he was going to be old Shaq. And he figured out, I'm not. That's why I averaged 20 points per game.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that because at that point in time against Dallas with I think they had what was the center they had? That Dampier. They had Dampier and
they was Desanya Job.
4 players on him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They had Eric Dampier and Dezaga Diop. I think that was his name.
Diop. Yeah, Diop. Yeah, it was him.
They had Diop. But all those guys were just a foul Shaq. Like you said, those were like Jason Collins and all those guys that they had, the Matt Geigers, the Brad Millers. These guys were only had jobs in the NBA to foul Shaq. That's how dominant Shaq was. That's what I'm saying. And like I said, I'm not taking nothing away from Dwyane Wade because I don't care about the first option, second option nonsense. That's just it. I just know that for me, the leader of the team is the guy that the team is built around, that they structure the team around. And I know at that time, because I went to the parade, I celebrated, I remember everything. And I was going to go to the Shaq parade, but I had to work. Back then I had responsibility.
Well, in game 1, Dwyane Wade shot 25 times to Shaq 11. So I think they had the understanding in game 1.
No, that's why Shaq was bitching because he was saying like, "Yo, we're losing because y'all not giving me the ball." Yeah. And that's when Gary Payton said, "Listen, stop bitching, play your role." All right, and they made the adjustment, and that adjustment was let Dwyane Wade cook Marquise Daniels.
Because in game 5, Shaq had 5 field goal attempts, so they had the understanding in game 2 as well. They had the understanding.
No, go to Brandon. Go to game 6 against Detroit when we clinched the series for the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, that's when he had his 27-12. That's when he thought he was still a shit.
That's when he thought he was still. That's what I'm saying. Shaq still thought he was still Shaq at the time. That's what I'm saying. At that time, he was because we were still running things through Shaq. And the series against Detroit, because Detroit plays a 1-on-1, they don't really try to double team. Shaq averaged, he averaged 22 and 10.5. Dwyane Wade.
Remember. Shaq came in 05. They in the Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit, taking them to a game 7.
Yeah, so in game 6 of this series,
in game 6,
Shaq balled out.
He was 12 for 14.
And then Dwyane Wade was 6 of 15 for 14 points. But Dwyane Wade did have 10 assists. So they like Brandon and I, we've had this conversation, Brandon. Remember we talked about that Shaq understood that there was times he had to step back, which he did for Kobe. When they all say, "Oh, Kobe was holding Shaq accountable," but they also say, "Oh, well, Shaq was willing to say, well, I'm not going to come in shape, so Kobe can take over." So there was times he relinquished it to Kobe, but it was only the time.
It's just in the finals when he had the
overwhelming. Yeah, it was when Shaq felt like I'm in shape. It's my team now. Kobe was like, "Well, no, I've been carrying us this whole time. You got to play second fiddle," and they went back and forth. And that's what it was with the Heat. That's what Gary Payton was telling him. Listen, there's times we went to Dwyane Wade. Let's let him cook. We might need him this series. You understand what I'm trying to say? And he did go ham. I'm not going to lie. Dwyane Wade went ham. He had one of the greatest finals performances of all time. But at the end of the day, that team was still built for Shaq. They put Antoine Walker and all those guys on that team for Shaquille O'Neal.
Maybe he should have shined Shaq in 2011. They would have never lost to Dallas then, huh?
Wait, Johnny, can we put 2002 Todd McCullough with Shaq and he wins those rings?
That's what. No, I say Todd McCullough. Again, I'm going to bring up guys to replace Kobe as a 2 guard. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to replace guys who can be the fourth quarter closer, the quote unquote fourth quarter scorer, and the second option to Shaq. I'm going to get you a second option.
When you doing this to Johnny?
Huh?
Friday.
I'm not doing it Friday. That's too long. Friday's a 100 episode. We got to really. I'm probably going to do it tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, you're doing it early. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun, Brandon. Listen, Brandon, I ain't got no job. I ain't got shit to do.
Like that Wednesday night exposure. It was great.
That's what I'm here to do, man. I'm on vacation, bro. I'm going to
Johnny. Johnny got a new board. Johnny got a new board. Showing it off.
I got a real new soundboard. Y'all want to hear some new sounds? Yeah. All right, there you go. This one's cool right here.
No.
You're gonna learn today.
I got one for you, Brandon. This one we love.
He ain't lying when you got that one.
No, I ain't got that one. I got to get that. I can put that. But Brandon, you'll like this one, Brandon.
Whoa. No, I'm telling you, pause. Pause.
Yo.
Pause.
Whoa.
Pause. Pause.
Yo, come on.
Pause. Pause.
Everything is smooth.
Hold on.
What is this? Yo, no.
And then Brandon, you'll like this one too, Brandon. You'll like this one too.
Boo this man.
Wow.
And also, Brandon will love this one.
Gotcha, bitch.
I thought you had that one already.
Well, no, we had something similar to that. We had something similar, and then there's also this one. This one we had to use on Brandon Katz earlier.
Cut that bitch off.
Oh, I thought someone said that on the panel.
and then Brandon, at the end of the day, when the Zesty Jeffries truly say we are the biggest LeBron sexual page of all time, we drop this on them.
LeBron James, all you gotta do is say his name. His greatness puts all other goats to shame. Let me talk about it. I don't care what you think MJ would do, cause next to Bron he'll always be number 2. 50,000 points, leader in this game. It's hard not to glaze when naming all of his accolades. Some would even say he's the best of all time, and if you disagree then you done lost your goddamn mind.
Oh, and with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to end Sunday's show. Peace and blessings. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
If you're a basketball fan and you're tired of basketball shows that talk about fake narratives and using non-basketball terms like killer instinct, playoff translation, gravity, come to GOAT James Kingdom.
Welcome to GOAT James Kingdom, where basketball lives forever. You get to enjoy BB and A Johnny talk basketball every Sunday noon Eastern Time right here on the GOAT James Kingdom channel. Support by subscribing and also check out the membership at GOAT James Kingdom.